with William Hill. 18 plus, gambleaware.org.
So for Leeds United to get the win, they need to move back to the top of the Championship table. It is 4-11. Bristol City to win the game, a rather tempting 7-1 after the Leeds United celebrations of the past week. The draw is 7-2. There's a couple of price boosts as well. Nahki Wells to score at any time. He's got 3 in his last 6 starts. That's 4-1. And for Joel Peru to score the first goal, he got 4, did he, against Stoke last time out? He is 4-1 as well. Those are the latest odds with William Hill. It's 18 plus. BeGambleAware.org.
In the Zone on TalkSport 2 with William Hill. 18 plus, gambleaware.org.
Let's head back to Elland Road to join the former England defender Mickey Graves alongside TalkSport's Ian Dante. Let's quickly look ahead to the final day of the season in the Championship and a big game live and exclusive on TalkSport 2. Coventry City taking on Middlesbrough. Faye Carruthers will be with you from the Hawthorns, but she'll be, of course, following every game on the final day of the season. Ian Dante will be there alongside former Scotland striker Chris Ualumo. But I have to ask you about the importance of this game, Mickey, for Middlesbrough in particular. Feels like pressure is growing on Michael Carrick. You almost feel like if they miss out on the top 6, I hate to be the bearer of bad news once again, but it's not intentional, I promise.
Please, you said it, Hugh. I was thinking it, but I was going to let you off this time.
But there might be big pressure on Michael Carrick if he can't reach the top 6. Do you think I'm right or wrong about that?
No, Hugh, look, you've got to ask the questions. I'm just jesting with you, believe me. But
it's okay.
Look, there's been talk of Michael over the last couple of months, and I believe when he first walked through the door, he did a very good job, and the style of football they were playing, he was getting his plaudits, and he took them. But I think when you look at the squad that Middlesbrough have got, I know they lost Latila in January, which was absolutely huge for them, and they brought in replacements that just haven't worked for them, and they're on the verge of it getting into playoffs. But I'm sure the conversation Michael had with the owners at Middlesbrough, Steve Gibson, would have said playoffs minimum. And Michael will know that. He will know if he underachieves and doesn't reach the playoffs, then he's got to sit down and have a conversation. And maybe Michael thinks himself, oh, well, I've failed. I've failed at Middlesbrough. I've not got to where I was expected to get to, and I now expect to lose my job. I think that will be a conversation.
I think it's fair to say, Hugh, that Steve Gibson is a chairman not given to making sweeping changes, on a whim. I think Gary Monk in recent times is the only Middlesbrough manager who's only been given a very
Jonathan
short
Woodgate.
period. Well, Woody, yeah, but that was kind of but from the start of the season. I think you're right. I think Michael Carrick, having been there for a little while, once you've had a few transfer windows to try and get the squad into your image, then yes, I guess the scrutiny intensifies that little bit. But the point that Mickey's just made about losing Latila and not being able to replace those goals is fundamental, absolutely fundamental.
Coventry City, Ian, do you think they've got a really good chance of getting the job done against Middlesbrough?
Be a great atmosphere. I mean, I've never known a season like it at the CBS Arena. They've got more season ticket holders there than they've ever had, even in the Ricoh Arena days when they were a Premier League club. It's brilliant what they've fostered there, the atmosphere and the intensity of it all. They've got a great record against Middlesbrough recently. I think they've stuck 9 goals past them in their last 3 encounters. But there was a little bit of fallibility in the game I saw at Luton at the weekend, Hugh. And Brad Collins in goal came for a ball that was never his to go and claim. Next thing you know, Shandon Baptista's rolled it into the back of the net. I think there might be a decision to make on whether it's Brad Collins or Ben Wilson that keeps goal. They're missing Victor Torp in midfield. Ellis Sims doesn't look like he's enjoying his football at the minute up top. So there's problems to solve, I think, Hugh, for Coventry City. But yeah, they can do it. Look, they're in the box seat. They're the ones whose destiny is in their own hands, and it's up to not just Middlesbrough but also Millwall and Blackburn to try and do something about it. So I'm going to need all my fingers and toes and abacuses and slide rules come Saturday lunchtime.
Yeah, no one could deny Coventry a goodwill story, could they, Dance, when you think about what they've been through over the last decade, having to move away from the stadium, playing their football at Northampton and other places as well, Hugh. So it's got a nice background story to it, hasn't it? And I think Frank Lampard, he deserves all the plaudits as well. What an incredible job he's done so far.
Just hope they're not running out of juice at the wrong time. 2 wins, 1 draw, 4 defeats in the last 7 games. As long as they can get themselves into that top 6, it won't matter at all. A big game, like I say, 12:30 exclusively live here on TalkSport 2. Gentlemen, the battle at the bottom is fairly remarkable going into the final weekend. Hull City inside the relegation zone on 48 points. Luton, Preston and Derby a point ahead of Hull. Stoke City a point ahead of those three. The final day will see Derby and Stoke face off. Bristol City will host Preston, Luton go to West Brom and Hull City go to Portsmouth, a Portsmouth side that have guaranteed themselves survival. I don't know. Hull have lost a huge game with Derby at the weekend. They were booed off in their final home game. You could sense the anger. I was there at the MKM. They were beaten by Luton in their previous home game. I feel they are in big trouble under Ruben Sellers ahead of that trip to Pompey, Mickey. Can they get the job done? Well,
I think every side at the bottom of the table, Hugh, will be worried. I was at Preston at the weekend when they lost the game against Plymouth. And I just didn't see where the next shot was going to come from, never mind the next goal. And look, Paul Heckenbottom's a mate of mine, but I listened to him at the end of the game, and you know, he went through the problems that the club have had, and they felt as if they were in the safety zone around about January period time, and they just got sucked and dragged into this relegation fight. So any of the sides just sitting above that relegation zone, or even the side that's still left in it who can get out of it, you have got to just focus on that one game and give absolutely every ounce of what you've got left and hope that you're above that dreaded dotted line before the end of the season, that full-time whistle blows. It's so difficult being down at the bottom of the table. You don't know where your next point's going to come from.
I remember what it was like last year, Mickey, when my lot were in the bottom three. Thought, well, let's get a win at home and see what happens. Everybody won that day at the bottom, so we stayed exactly where we were. There's nothing we could have done about it. So sometimes you can leave it too late, but I'm not sure whether every team's going to win down there on Saturday lunchtime. We'll have to wait and see, but I'm with Mickey. I'm a little bit concerned about Preston and their sudden lack of goals and firepower.
Okay, all right, big final day. Remember, you can follow it all here on TalkSport 2 at 12:30 on Saturday. Coventry against Middlesbrough will be our main game. The atmosphere sounds absolutely fantastic, Ian, inside Elland Road right now. Tell me more.
They've given every Leeds fan a yellow scarf. They've actually given us the same scarves in the press box. Yeah, I think Mickey's going on eBay tomorrow. And it's a big yellow scarf with blue writing on that says "At least until the world stops going round," a phrase that's connected with Leeds United. And they are all, to a man and woman, swinging these scarves around their head all around the stadium. Revie End, Jack Charlton stand opposite, Norman Hunter. They're all like the Madridistas do at the Bernabeu, Hugh, when they're completely getting behind Real Madrid. Brilliant atmosphere, celebratory, joyous, but at the end of it all, they still know there's a job to do here tonight.
Absolutely they do. Mickey Gray, what are you expecting to see in this first half in particular? I feel like Bristol City have nothing to lose at all. It's almost like a cup final. Goal difference very tight though when it comes to that final position in the playoff places, so they don't want to go out with a 3 or 4 goal defeat here, which is possible given how good Leeds are in attack. But I think they also have to try and force the issue if they possibly can, because the 3 points, of course, guarantees a top 6 spot. What do you think the mindset will be in terms of approach from Bristol City?
Well, I mean, they've got to be nice and tight at the beginning of the game, Hugh. It doesn't really matter what the players, Leeds United players, have been up to this week. They want to go out on a high. They'll go out and play with a bit of freedom here today, and Bristol City have got to be aware of that. They've got to be organised, they've got to be professional. As you mentioned before, Earthy, Wells and Bird have got to get involved in the game as much as they possibly can. And McGuane and Knight just in behind them have got to do a huge job in midfield to try and nullify Tanaka and Gruev and even Aronson in that midfield area. So yeah, it's all about your individual battles. And just on the back of what you were talking about there now, about the flags and everything, one of the reasons I came here on loan dance was to walk out of that tunnel to listen to this, and it is so special here right now. You want to see the scenes, it's absolutely incredible.
An ocean of yellow inside Elland Road. I'll leave you to soak up those scenes in the company of the former England defender Mickey Gray and TalkSport's Ian Danter. A win puts Leeds United on the verge of the title. Bristol City will guarantee a place in the top 6 if they can take all 3 points away from Elland Road. A big evening on TalkSport 2. Mickey Gray is alongside TalkSport's Ian Danter.
Thank you, Hugh, and a very good evening to you wherever and however you're listening to TalkSport 2 as we welcome you to an Elland Road stadium that, if the board has its way, will be unrecognisable in the next few years, with plans unveiled this afternoon to rebuild the north, south and west stands here, taking the capacity up over the 50,000 mark when complete. How recognisable the Leeds squad is come August compared to now is, as always, with a promoted side, open to question. Not only that, but the future of the man who's taken Leeds back to the Premier League is under scrutiny. Daniel Farke has now won promotion 3 times from the Championship and the potential for a 3rd title. But the Leeds owner is jetting over for talks with the German about next season. He may well even speak to him tonight. We may find out in the fullness of time. All Farke can do for now is get Leeds back up at Burnley into top spot tonight with a win. But the visitors, Bristol City, have an agenda of their own, namely that if they can grab the 3 points on offer here, the Robins will guarantee themselves a playoff berth ahead of final day, which would constitute a Herculean effort from Liam Manning and his squad, who cost a fraction of many clubs at this level. Team news: Leeds United are unchanged from their 6-0 thrashing of Stoke City a week ago. So Carl Darlow is still the first choice keeper. That's now 6 appearances, having taken the gloves off Illan Meslier. Jayden Bogle, Joe Rodon, Ethan Ampadu and Junior Firpo in a back 4. Altanaka and Ilya Gruev are the holding midfielders. Wilfried Gnonto, Brendan Aronson and Manor Solomon in behind Joel Peru, who scored 4 here against the Potters last Monday. As for Bristol City, 2 changes, one of them forced on Liam Manning. And that change sees Cameron Pring drop out from the 3 centre-halves. His place goes to Hayden Roberts. And further forward, George Earthy on loan from West Ham is preferred to Anis Mehmeti. 3-4-2-1 for the Robins. Max O'Leary, their keeper. Zach Viner, Rob Dickey, Hayden Roberts in the 3. George Tanner, Marcus McGuane, Jason Knight and Ross McCrory across midfield, with Max Bird and George Earthy behind Naki Wells. Well, almost every Leeds fan around the stadium is bedecked in the yellow away strip, but Leeds are playing in their traditional all white this evening with a bit of blue trim, and they'll be heading for the Norman Hunter stand to our right. Myself and Mickey are sat about 30 rows back in the John Charles main stand, which will be the first stand to have reconstruction work done on it based on the plans submitted by the board today that you'll have seen online. We are underway on TalkSport 2, your home of the EFL. The title's still to be decided. If Leeds get a win, then their destiny on final day is very much in their own hands. So Leeds are all in white. Bristol City are all in black in their change strip with a little bit of red trim on their jerseys. Junior Firpo carrying the ball up to the halfway line on the far side of the field from us, rolls it into Joel Peru, who must be on an absolute high after his 4 goals here 7 days ago. Played out by Tanaka to Bogle, and then the 2 centre-halves combine. Hope you can hear me, Mickey Gray. It's quite loud in here.
I think we're going to have to get used to that all-night dance, aren't we? They're in celebratory mode, these supporters. It just depends whether the players are or not. But as I said before, I think they'll want to finish the season on a high, certainly in front of their supporters tonight.
Brendan Aronson, the American, tucks it out to the right wing for Wilfried Gnonto. Level with the 18-yard line. Tries to play it through the legs of McGuane, but Bristol City win it back. Earthy nods it down into midfield, but it screws away from the Bristol City midfield, and Leeds win it back. It's out on the left-hand side with Manor Solomon. Up to the edge of the area. Aronson trying to weave his way through. Peru gives it back to Aronson, but there's so many Bristol City shirts back. They managed to get the ball clear, but they try and send it downfield for Earthy. Hits Earthy on his backside and comes straight back to Leeds. Minute and a half gone, 0-0.
Well, I tell you what, James Bell, the referee's done very well there to let play carry on, because there was a couple of little knocks just around the edge of the 18-yard area for Leeds United as they got to the edge of the 18-yard area. Solomon went to ground and he just waved it on as if, I'm going to let this game play on all night because I want it to flow, I want people to enjoy themselves. And you can see already in the game, Dance, Leeds have had a lot of possession. When they get the chance to get that ball forward, they just break their necks, they run forward. Everybody wants to enjoy tonight.
Yeah, they've completely dominated the opening 2 minutes in terms of keeping possession. Bristol City have had maybe 1 or 2 touches, and here's Bogle for Leeds, working it infield to Aronson, centre of the Bristol City half. Peru, edge of the D, trying to work an angle, plays it into Firpo, across the face of goal, and Bogle couldn't tuck it away from right in front. He was inches away, Jayden Bogle, having come in from the right-hand side to tucking it away underneath O'Leary, but in the end Bristol City survive, and it's a goal kick, 0-0.
He's got to score, he has to score, Jayden Bogle. It's a brilliant move, and it actually starts with him on the right back position. Lovely little give and go, but when that through ball's played through by Perot, look, he might be in that offside position, but I know he's a full back. He has to put that in the back of the net, Dance.
It's not been given as an offside. It did look offside from the ball that Firpo played across the face of goal, but it's a goal kick that Max O'Leary to our right is clearly taking. And he'll smack it right-footed downfield, looking to get a Bristol City head on it, and it does get a head on it of Ross McCrory, and he heads the ball downfield, but Leeds deal with it, and McCrory can't control the ball as it's returned to him, so out of play it goes. McCrory looks to be playing on the right-hand side. He was playing on the left-hand side the other day. Tanner is back there too. Ball's back with Leeds United and Joe Rodon. Up to the halfway line. Just skips past the challenge of Naki Wells, who used to ply his trade just down the M62 from here at Huddersfield Town. Ball infield is just intercepted by Rob Dickey, but Leeds get it back. Solomon, left-hand side, near the left-hand corner of the box, lays it back into midfield for Gruev. Now Ampadu gives it back to Solomon. Tries to play a 1-2 with Firpo, but McCrory slides in and puts it out of play. Down the Leeds left-hand side, throw-in taken quickly. 4 minutes gone on TalkSport 2. It's 0-0. And the two Welsh centre-halves, Ampadu and Rodon, exchanging passes.
Well, Bristol City probably don't at the moment, Dance. They probably don't know what's hit them. Maybe they expected this, I don't know, but they've just got to try at some point to get a foot in, maybe win the ball back, have a 20 or 30 seconds where they keep ball possession for a little while and just grow into this match, because at the minute it's all one way.
Ball's out on the right-hand side, work back in field. And Rodon and Ampadu will pick it up on halfway for Leeds United at 0-0. Ampadu, who missed a bit of the season through injury. Pascal Strike fitted in very well whilst he wasn't around, but Strike's out injured now. But Ampadu and Rodon have played more games together at the back than anybody else for Leeds United this season. Throw in to the hosts. Tanaka works it back to Rodon on halfway. Gruev will give it back to his defensive midfield partner Tanaka. What a signing he's been for Leeds United.
Absolutely superb. And if you're thinking about players who can actually make that step up, Dance, and play in the Premier League, he's ready-made for it. He's a super footballer, great energy. He's got an eye for a pass, rarely gives the ball away. And as you see now, he's not frightened just to drop into that defensive line, pick the ball up from his centre-halves and start playing from the back. So much confidence.
I think it's fair to say it's £3.5 million well spent.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Leeds United 0, Bristol City 0. 5.5 gone at Elland Road on this calm, clear night in West Yorkshire. Been a beautiful day, and it's shirt sleeve order all around the stadium, even here in the press box.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
Don't need the big coat yet, do we?
First time this season.
I know. Long time coming.
Yeah, I hope it stays like this. But if I'm talking about Bristol City, Dance, I have to say on a couple of occasions George Earthy, whose form's been pretty good, he's got himself back in the starting 11. He's the one who's tried to make runs in behind on a couple of occasions. Just the ball's got stuck under his feet, and I just think he's the one who's got to try and get facing Leeds United's back line, get them turned a little bit, use his pace and quality if Bristol City are going to start to grow into it.
Ball's laid forward by Max Bird to find McCrory. Now it's worked back to the back three. McGuane gives it back to Hayden Roberts. Now here's McGuane again, once of Oxford United. Was on Barca's books some years ago, Marcus McGuane. Ball thread down the right-hand side, but passed straight out of play. There's a few changes to that Bristol City lineup. Jason Knight is actually sitting relatively deep alongside McGuane. You've got the three centre-halves of Dickey, Viner and Roberts, but McCrory's playing on the right-hand side, and Tanner's also out on that right-hand side. Very intriguing setup, a little bit different to what Liam Manning had in his last game, despite the two changes that he's made to personnel. Bristol City, remember, just need 2 points to confirm their playoff place. They can do it tonight if they get all 3, but they're under a lot of possessional pressure from Leeds United, who've kept, according to the stats I've got here, 91% of possession in these opening 7 minutes, and they have it again, Leeds on halfway with Tanaka. Lays it off to his right for Rodon. First time ball out to Bogle, who missed that golden chance early on, but he drives infield towards the edge of the area, finds Aronson, but he has to turn away from the box under pressure from Earthy. Now works it back to Rodon. Ampadu in the centre circle, everything in front of him, goes to his right back for Rodon, now plays it through for Nonto, who tried an instant ball round the corner for Aronson. It didn't quite come off, and Bristol City have it back. Earthy tucks it back to Dickey inside his own 18-yard box, and now Knight finds Hayden Roberts on this left-hand side, but Roberts can't get away from the challenge on this near side, so Bristol City have a throw on this near side. 8.5 minutes gone on TalkSport 2. It's 0-0. Here's Mickey Gray.
Yeah, well, I mean, Bristol City can't live with the movement. The Leeds United at the moment, the little give and goes around the corner from Nonto into Aronson, nearly came off. If it did, it would have been absolutely outstanding. But I'm just looking at that Bristol City setup there, Dante, as well. You're right. Hayden Roberts is kind of coming over as a kind of left-back centre-half, if you like, when they're out of possession. But when they do get the ball, he's the one who's got to try and get forward.
Aronson for Leeds United finds Solomon just inside the area, left-hand side. Goes for goal, pushed away by O'Leary, right in front of Nonto, who was ready to pick up the bits and pieces. But O'Leary did well to get it out of harm's way. 0-0.
He did. And I think Nonto's probably made his run a little bit too early, because if he stalls himself and holds on a little bit, he gets a deflection and a little tap in from 2 yards out. But great wing play against Solomon. Looks lively over on that left-hand side. So easy for him just to get a half a yard. Didn't quite get enough pace behind the shot. It was an easy save for O'Leary, but I think the goalkeeper has to do better with it. He's got to parry it further away from his goal.
But it stays goalless on TalkSport 2. George Tanner's playing as the right-sided of the three Bristol City centre-halves, with Dickey and Roberts. It's not Dickey and Viner, and then Roberts and McCrory are the left and right wing-backs. And last time out against Luton, Tanner was right wing-back, McCrory was left wing-back. So they're all-purpose, these Bristol City players, for Liam Manning. Now here's Junior Firpo, working the ball infield, looking for Aronson. He'll actually ricochet for Nonto, then poked through back for Nonto by Peru, right-hand corner of the penalty area, plays it deep to the far post, but that's too much club on that from Wilfred Nonto, and that's going to drift behind for a Bristol City goal kick away to our right-hand side at the Norman Hunter end. 0-0.
Yeah, taking nothing away from Nonto here, but I'm just wondering if that was Dan James with a little bit of extra pace there, Dance. The first touch, I think, would have been a little bit more direct towards that penalty area, and he would have been able to get his shot away. Nonto's first touch was a little bit poor, and he tried to make up for it with a whip cross, but he got it completely wrong, didn't he? But you can see he's looking lively, he's wanting to get on the ball.
Naki Wells heads it downfield, but out comes Carl Darlow to collect, given the gloves after one too many moments that Ilan Meslier would rather forget in Leeds United goal this season. And Carl Darlow, vastly experienced former Newcastle keeper, has the ball at his feet now.
Certainly a position, isn't it, Dance, that they have to look at in the summer. We've talked about recruitment at Leeds United. I think priority has probably got to be a striker first and foremost. I know Piro's got goals this season, but another striker, but without a doubt another goalkeeper.
Lovely touch in field from Nonto from this right hand side, and he's going to be released down the right again by Aronson. McGuane trying to stay with him. Right hand corner of the box, Brendan Aronson gives it back to Nonto down the right hand side of the box. He gives it back to Aronson again, tucks it down the right hand side of the area. Bogle tries to turn it across the face of goal first time. It's cleared out as far as Nonto, makes room for a shot, but the ball bobbles just as he struck it left footed, and that went into row Z of the Norman Hunter stand. Goal kick again to Bristol City, who are under intense Leeds United pressure, but it stays goalless on TalkSport 2.
Well, Liam Manning knows now that Leeds United are here and they're here to win. They're not here just to make the numbers up. It's been so difficult for the away side, Bristol City, and I think it's the two wide players, Solomon and Nonto, who've got on the ball quite a lot. Just Nonto hasn't got that little bit of quality in the final third just as yet. I'm sure he will improve.
Ball downfield from Bristol City. Actually will break in the centre circle, and Wells picks it up now for the Robins, tries to clip it out to the left hand side to Earthy, but it's tidied up by Roden and back to Darlow. Now Firpo under pressure from McCrory, gives it back to Ampadu, slightly ricocheted clearance, but now it's worked down the left hand side for Gruev, who's ahead of his midfielder and moving into the Bristol City half. Finds Nonto at the edge of the area just to the right of centre. Nonto gets the ball onto his right but strikes it against Roberts, and it goes out of play, and it's actually come off Nonto last of all. That's been given as a goal kick, and the counter-attack comes to nothing. Very good evening to you if you're listening to us on the TalkSport app. Let's had a bit of a makeover, unlike me and Mickey, who never like to get a glow up.
Well, talk about yourself, Dan.
Well, I know.
I've had plenty of them.
If you get the app downloaded from your app store now, you can watch top video content now on our app, as well as the live shows that you can hear and podcasts. And you can listen again to shows you may have missed. Plus, you can check the live games tab to see what we've got coming up for you across our network with the Premier League, the Champions League, Europa League, playoffs, and more. And as Hugh mentioned, our next championship action after tonight is the final day, Saturday lunchtime. I'll be at the Coventry Building Society Arena for Coventry against Middlesbrough. One of those teams should be in the playoffs.
You would think so, wouldn't you, Dan? But it's so tense, it's so tight. There's going to be nerves jangling until you get that little settler of getting yourself in front in a game where you can just calm yourself down a little bit. But that's why managers and coaches...
Well, I'm going to wear the fingerless gloves and the open-toed sandals, so I've got enough digits so I can count up what's going on at the top and the bottom, because there's relegation issues to sort out as well. It's all about the title here tonight for Leeds United. A win would take them back to the summit of the Championship, above Burnley on the massive goal difference they've got over the Clarets. They are easily the highest scorers in the Championship, Leeds United. 89. The next best was Norwich with 67. Now here's Jayden Bogle for Leeds United. Has the ball laid off to him on the halfway line. Nonto have to run back to the halfway line under pressure from Roberts. Finds Roden. And Bristol City have probably settled Mickey Gray in the last 2 or 3 minutes. Quarter of an hour gone, 0-0.
Yeah, they have. They've started getting up the pitch a little bit higher, haven't they? I think the hold-up play from Naki Wells has got to be a little bit better than it has. But you're right, they're growing in confidence.
Now Solomon releases Peru inside the area. Gives it back to Solomon! Offside flag goes up. It won't count. They were ready to celebrate and then some at Elland Road as Manor Solomon tucked it away, but the flag had long since gone up on this near side. And suddenly the corks have to go back in the champagne. It's 0-0.
Yeah, I just had a little look out my right eye, Dan. I seen the flag go up because, again, the movement was fantastic. Pirro's done really well, his first touch to get him away from his marker, but that little pass across to Solomon is on a path for him, and he's just got to slot the ball into the back of the net. I think it is the right call. He is in an offside position, but this back line of Bristol City, I still can't work it out. Is it 3? Is it 5? Because they're shuffling across left and right. They've just got to try and pick up the man and stay in a position, because at the moment they're all over the place.
McGuane loses possession just over the halfway line. Here come Leeds again at 0-0 with Tanaka. Good quick feet from him. Works it across to the inside left channel. Solomon driving up to the edge of the area. Looks for Firpo left hand side of the box. But that was a vital interception from George Tanner to win it back for Bristol City. And now they bring it away with Hayden Roberts down this left hand side, just in front of the technical areas down beneath us. And Roberts wins a throw off a combination of Bogle and Nonto, who are trying to pick his pocket.
He's got nowhere to go. That's the problem he's got. Hayden Roberts down this left hand side. He gets to the byline and he's looking up. Where's my striker? Where's Naki Wells? Where's George Earthy? Where's Max Bird? Well, they're behind him, so he's having to shuffle back, go back to his other centre half when he gets a chance. But if they're going to get anything from this game, Danson, in the next 5 or 10 minutes, players have got to break the neck and get forward. Good footballers, but if you've got nobody or no options to play the ball to, then Leeds are just going to keep nicking the ball off you, and then they're going to be on their attack again.
Bristol City were 4 unbeaten prior to their defeat at Kenilworth Road on Easter Monday, but just 2 defeats in 13 if you want to go back further. The problem is keeping a clean sheet. They haven't kept one in 9 matches. But it's 0-0 so far here. 17 gone on TalkSport 2. Leeds on the attack again down this near side, the right, as they attack the Norman Hunter. It's Jayden Bogle trying to play the ball along the deck into the box, looking for Nonto at the near post, but Bristol City are wise to that one. Ball played up to Wells, but it won't stick with Naki Wells. Rodon stuck his foot in front of him and won it back for the hosts. Now Peru out to the left hand side, and Solomon, and he clips it back in field for Gruev. Roden now in front of the centre circle, switches play from left to right once again, but Bogle not going to try and go on the outside of Earthy on this occasion. elects to go back for his two centre-halves instead. Ampadu in the centre circle, square pass to his right for Roden. Now a short ball into Tanaka just ahead of him. Nonto now picks it up, just brings the game down to walking pace, the Italian. Short 1-2 with Bogle, and they're just keeping it simple at the moment, Leeds United. Perhaps working it across to the left-hand side again. Firpo has come in field, plays it out to the far touchline, and Solomon, there's an argument to say securing Manor Solomon on a permanent deal should be a good order of business for Leeds United.
He's got the talent, hasn't he, Dance? Look, this move that Leeds United are having right now, I'll just stop because they're nearly in the 18-yard area.
They are. It's Aronson, right-hand side, just turns away from the penalty area for a moment. Bogle goes on the overlap, but he doesn't use him. Instead, he finds Tanaka. Tanaka now darting down the right-hand side of the area. Then he'll lay it off to Bogle. Bristol City got everybody behind the ball in their own defensive third of the field, away to our right. Ampadu for Leeds. Finds Solomon in the inside left channel. Out to Firpo, midway point of the half. And again, Leeds will just go back and start again if they feel they need to. Grueff goes back out to the left-hand side, and Junior Firpo. And he will take 4 or 5 paces in field. Can't find a forward passer. He'll go back again to the two centre-halves. So we're just happy to keep it. No real pressing on Roden and Ampadu when they have the ball.
Yeah, what I was going to say, Dance, was this batch of possession started off with a brilliant challenge from Rodon. He won it back from Naki Wells, and what were probably 30 or 40 passes into a move now from Leeds United. Yes, they haven't got very far with it, but that's how good Bristol City have got to be. When it goes up to your forward players, if they're not making that ball stick, it's going to keep bouncing back. Leeds are going to be on the attack, and this is why it's going to be such a difficult evening for the away team.
You're listening to Leeds United 0, Bristol City 0 on TalkSport 2. You're home with the EFL. We've played nearly 20 minutes at Elland Road. Strong header down from Firpo to find Solomon. Solomon threads it up to the edge of the area. Peru lays it off to Aronson. Aronson takes the drive, and it's blocked by the legs of O'Leary, and behind for a corner kick. Leeds first of the game at the Norman Hunter end, 0-0.
I think we've just nearly seen goal of the season, because I talked about those passes from Leeds United. It must have got up to at least 40 to 45 passes. A brilliant header from Firpo to keep it going, but when they work it down that left-hand side, you get your shots away. Aronson on this occasion tries to keep it low, but absolutely fantastic.
So a corner kick for Manor Solomon to take where the Norman Hunter meets the Jack Charlton stand. It's whipped in low to the near post and actually takes a touch off a Bristol City player. It was Naki Wells trying to defend the near post, who couldn't keep it from going over the dead ball line for another corner in the same spot over on the far side of the field from us as we look on from the John Charles main stand here. Solomon again, right-footed in swinger. This one's far deeper to Tanaka across the face of goal. Can somebody in white get a touch? Bristol City managed to smuggle it clear through McGuane. Back out to Solomon, left-hand side of the area. Trying to jockey Earthy. Gets a good ball to the far post. Tanaka! It had to come. It just had to come. And it's Tanaka, who kept himself at the far post. He won the initial header at the far post, stuck to his place, and when it was worked back in by Manor Solomon, he'd lost his marker, and from close range stabbed it underneath Max O'Leary. And Leeds are in front and going back to the top of the table. 21 minutes gone. It's Leeds United 1, Bristol City 0.
Well, just listen to that atmosphere in this stadium. What they've all turned up for today, to cheer their side on, and they haven't let them down. Tanaka, absolutely superb. To stay alert as that ball comes back into the area. You can see he's looking along the line. When it finds itself to the back post, he's unmarked. No one within 5-6 yards of him, but a brilliant ball into the box. And Tanaka, that's brave, Dance. Goalkeeper coming off his line. He may be thinking he's going to get one from the keeper, but he keeps his cool, keeps it low. What a finish, what a player.
That's his 5th goal of the season, Tanaka. And we were speaking earlier about what a bargain buy he is from Fortuna Düsseldorf. £3.5 million, superbly well spent. And Bristol City can't complain about being behind. I think the possession stats were something like 80-20 in Leeds United's favour when that goal went in. Back underway on TalkSport 2. And now the yellow scarves are being swirled around the heads of the Leeds United fans once again. They're ready to party.
Yeah.
They had enough of a party last Monday.
Oh, they're loving it, Dan. So they're enjoying themselves. They want this just to not stop. The football's been outstanding, I have to say, from Leeds United. Look, I've not seen a lot of Bristol City, but what I will say...
Aronson might get onto Solomon inside the area. Great ball through from Gruev. Saved by the keeper. What a stop from Max O'Leary. Gruev put a lovely through ball to get Manor Solomon away. Inside left channel, got into the area, but credit Max O'Leary for keeping that out and keeping it at just 1-0 to Leeds United.
What a save. Absolutely fantastic from Max O'Leary, and the quickness and the sharpness of Leeds United on the break, the one-touch passing for Solomon to get in behind. Those players make those runs because they know the pass is coming. You don't even have to think about it. In behind the centre halves, the ball falls into your path. I think again Solomon's got to put that in the back of the net, but the movement is superb.
You're listening to Leeds United 1, Bristol City 0 in the EFL Championship, live on TalkSport 2 with McDonald's. Order McDelivery on the app and get rewards points. 18 plus participating restaurants, delivery fees and terms apply. See mcdonalds.com. More live football to come this week on TalkSport, TalkSport 2 and the TalkSport app, the brand new updated all singing and dancing TalkSport app. We've got Champions League live on Wednesday night. Barcelona, Inter Milan. Adrian's going to be at the Emirates tomorrow night for kick-off. Regular updates on Arsenal's first leg of their semi-final in the Champions League against PSG. And then after Wednesday night with the Barcelona-Inter game, we've got 3 games for you on Thursday. Forest Brentford in the Premier League on TalkSport. Athletic Bilbao against Manchester United on TalkSport 2 in the Europa League, and the other semi-final in the Europa League, Spurs against Bodo Glimt, is on that new TalkSport app at the same time, 8 o'clock. Get it downloaded and check out all the video content as well as all the shows and podcasts that you can get on the app too. Leeds piling forward once again at 1-0 up. Bogle, lovely ball down the right side of the box for Solomon, but he just can't catch the ball up, and Hayden Roberts probably was just in front of him and had enough of a physical presence to make Solomon think, nah, I won't bother. Goal kick to Bristol City, and the Leeds fans are absolutely loving it, and they've just seen Harry Gray come out to warm up. Archie Gray's younger brother, another of the Gray footballing dynasty, who got his debut here against Stoke for a few minutes a week ago.
Let's hope we get to see a little bit more of him tonight as well, Dan, because I've heard a lot about him. Big shoes to fill, I'm sure, but he's a young man. But I've heard that he's actually better than his brother. Well, only time will tell with that. We know how well Archie's done since he got his move to Tottenham, but so if he's part of that family and he's as good as any of them, he's going to have a great career. So I can't wait to see him in the flesh.
And Archie's played in about 17 different positions for Tottenham, hasn't he, since he's been there?
He has. Do you know, Dan, it's very hard to get a couple of seconds here to talk about Bristol City, but I can see why they have problems away from home.
Solomon down by the corner flag. We'll get more on that in a moment, but Solomon's trying to get past McCrory, fires it into the area. Heavy touch from Aronson. It almost broke for Peru, 8 yards out, but again there was just a desperate toe-end clearance from Bristol City to get it downfield. 1-0 Leeds.
Yeah, they're panicking all the time, and that's what it is with Bristol. That back line is either a 3 or a 5. At the moment it's a 5 because they can't get out of their own half. When they do, they've got no bodies in the opposition's half to maybe cause Leeds United any threats, and you see the gaps and the spaces between the back line, the midfield, the 2 midfielders, the forward players. It's really, really poor. They've got to stay tight and knitted and really hard to break down. At the moment they're nervy and they're all over the place.
It's former Leeds United legend, I can call you that, can't I? Mickey Gray. No, all right. It's very deprecating of you. Leeds coming down the left-hand side with Solomon. Wins a corner off George Tanner. 27 minutes gone on TalkSport 2, and Leeds are not resting at the 1-0 advantage they have.
Yeah, now look, they want to try and add to the 6-0 that they had against Stoke City, and the way that they've started this game, there's no reason why they can't do it. You think if they get the second and the third, the floodgates could actually come open, because the atmosphere has just given them an extra 10 or 15% that they need, and whatever they have been drinking through the week, I wouldn't mind some of it.
Solomon with this latest corner, drilled into the far post, headed up in the air by Dickey, drops at the edge of the box. McGuane can't get it further clear. Nonto trying to protect the ball inside the D. He's finally gone to ground, but there's Tanaka, the goal scorer, to tigerishly win it back. Aronson picks it up right hand side. McGuane has stayed down and is stumping the turf in frustration, and the referee James Bell has brought proceedings to a temporary halt so that McGuane can get some treatment. So Mickey Gray can talk to us more about why it is what you've spotted from Bristol City that makes you think, well, this is why they're so poor on the road.
Yeah, well, look, we're still trying to work out ourselves whether it's 3 at the back or whether it's 5 at the back. But when they get the ball into that midfield area, they've got to get on the half turn a little bit quicker. Max Bird and George Earthy have got to make the pitch as big as they possibly can. Make it wide, make it difficult for Leeds to defend against them. But if you do lose the ball, which they have done on a few occasions in this game, get yourself back into a tight-knit position. Surround that centre circle and make Leeds go on the outside of you. Make it hard for them to get it wide. It's too easy for them at the moment. They're poking the legs out trying to win the ball back. I want to see another 5-10%. Someone who wants to go and be the game changer for Bristol City. But winning and losing football matches is keeping clean sheets. They found that really difficult. But when you're in the opposition's final third, get those 3 players around the edge of that 18-yard box and get balls into the box. And Naki Wells will make the runs all day long for you. But when the ball's not coming, he's going to stop, he's going to come short. And that's why it's been really hard for them.
Leeds United 1, Bristol City 0. An impromptu drinks break here whilst Marcus McGuane got some treatment. He's back on his feet and on this near touchline. So there's been a temporary break in play. Gives me a chance to remind you that TalkSport Breakfast is back in the morning with Ali McCoist and Andy Townsend in tow. And Lee Dixon will be joining the chaps to preview Arsenal's semi-final first leg against PSG at the Emirates. And Stephen Bunting's going to be on as well, big Liverpool fan as well as a PDC darts player. It must be made up, as they would say. In fact, Luke Humphreys is here tonight. He just walked past us before the game started, the world #1 at darts. And don't forget, our Premier League darts coverage continues on Thursday night on the TalkSport Darts YouTube channel as we count down towards finals night at the end of May at the O2. So much live sport across the network, including our new improved app. So we're back underway. Leeds 1 up, approaching the half hour. Tanaka, the goal scorer, just lays the ball off down the right-hand side for Bogle. McGuane's waiting to come back on, so a temporary advantage for Leeds. And Bogle tries to get down the right-hand side of the area. Great challenge from George Earthy. He thinks that's a goal kick, but the assistant on this near side has given a corner to Leeds United, their first of the evening from where the Norman Hunter meets the main stand that we're sat in. 1-0 Leeds. Yeah,
he's got a bit of a case there, George Earthy. Just a little nick right at the very end of it, but give him a lot of credit there. Stuck with his marker, kept his eyes on him, got that little ditch challenge in at the end. That's what they need to do, these wide players for Bristol. They've got to work ever so hard.
Corner kick from Grueff, sent into the near post, punched away out to Solomon, edge of the area, drives it goalwards, and Dickey just had to throw his head at it and try and deflect it away from goal, which he did, and has conceded another corner for Leeds United. 1-0, they still lead.
See, look, Solomon, how can he have that much space at the edge of the area? That's really worrying. You've got to break your neck and get out there and make it really difficult for him to get his shot in. Brilliant defending from Rob Dickey, but he shouldn't have to do that.
So Solomon with another corner on the far side of the field, right-footed in swinger at pace into the near post, comfortably headed clear by Wells, but there's nobody in a black Bristol City shirt to pick up the loose ball, and it's back with Carl Darlow. Shoot is that he's not being booed. I should make that quite clear. I think the Leeds fans are jokingly saying have a go for goal from where you are, midway point of his own half. You scored yesterday, didn't you, in your charity game?
I don't like to mention it, Dan, but
It was a rasper, fully 15 yards out.
I tell you what, I'm feeling it today.
I saw it when you walked in. Poor lad. I'm surprised he's not doing this commentary from an iron lung. Leeds United win the ball back at the edge of the area. Solomon was trying to tee it up for Peru inside the box. Bristol City get it clear. Earthy, good touch from him just shy of the halfway line, trying to pirouette away from Bogle. Then he's fouled by Tanaka, and Bristol City have a free kick. Is that the first free kick they've won? Just shy of the halfway line. 1-0 Leeds.
Yeah, and again it's George Earthy. His first touch is very good. He holds it up really well, but he's having a look over his left and right shoulder and go, all right, well, where's my teammates? I've got nobody to play it to unless I go back to my centre halves, and that is their issue. I don't know how well they've been doing at home, but you think about 22 points away from home, Dance, and where they find themselves. They could have been a lot higher in the table, Bristol City. They've got to try and mix it up a little bit away from home.
Now Naki Wells trying to get in behind Roden as he's played forward. Wells into the area. Roden's got back level with him, and he's forced Wells outside the area, and then Wells treads on the ball. Roden picks up the loose ball, and the chance is gone. When it looked for a moment, Mickey Gray, as though Wells had just got half a yard on the Welshman getting into the area.
Well, there you go. A little ball round the corner, fantastic pass around the corner. Naki Wells in a foot race alongside Joe Rodon. He's got the beating of him. So keep doing it. Yes, OK, he's fell over the ball and nothing's came of that. But that's how you stretch a pitch. That's what centre forwards need to do. If you've got the pace, you use it.
Encouragement for Bristol City, but they're 1-0 down and still being pressurised by the hosts, who have it again with Nonto. Midway point of the Bristol City half. But the ball in field was half cleared by the visitors, but it's come back to Tanaka. Tanaka out to Bogle, right hand side, puts a cross in from deep, looking for Peru. Rob Dickey heads it down, a little cushion header, and then Hayden Roberts coming out to this near touchline under pressure from Nonto, can only clear the ball straight out of play for a Leeds United throw.
Kind of a story of the first half, Dance, isn't it, when you see Bristol City with the ball at the back? You know, their heads down, they're looking at grass, they've got nowhere to play the ball to, they're just clearing the lines, and that needs to change, whether they go to a 4 in the second half or whatever they do, but he's got to change it up, Lee Manning.
Goes out to Peru. Patrick Bamford just winding up the Revy end away to our left hand side. The lesser spotted Patrick Bamford this season at least. Been nowhere near as much in evidence as we've seen Patrick in recent seasons due to injury concerns, but he is still very much part of things. It's his 7th season at Leeds, Patrick Bamford, but hasn't started this campaign. Here's Al Tanaka, the goal scorer for Leeds United, working the ball in field to the centre circle of Gruev. Ball through the centre of the pitch was comfortably picked off by Tanner. Wells out on the right hand side, lays it back to Ross McCrory, who scored an absolute rip snorter, or it's George Tanner rather, who scored the rip snorter at Luton Town in the defeat on Easter Monday. Now here's George Earthy on loan from West Ham for the Robins, playing a 1-2 with Hayden Roberts, having to come back to the halfway line. There's just no way
it's
through.
It's unbelievable, Dance. He's got himself into a really good position, George Earthy. He's done really well again, but he's having a look up. There's nobody in sight of him, within 20 yards distance of him, so he has to go back to his full-back or his centre midfield player, and now they're starting again. Ball possession, yes, of course. Is this down to Leeds United and the press? I don't think it's been that good. There's still spaces, but there's just nothing on for Bristol
Wells
City.
is giving it away. Aronson, lovely pirouette, gets away down the left-hand side into the box. Solomon's with him. Aronson finds Peru. The left-footed shot is blocked behind by Viner for yet another Leeds corner at the Norman Hunter end, and they continue to turn the screw. 1-0 up with 10 minutes to half-time.
Yeah, another turnover from Leeds United, absolutely brilliant. Take nothing away from them. They've approached this game 100%. They've been fantastic. But when they win the ball, the first thought is, how can I get this ball forward? Who can I see? Nonto's available, Peru's available, Solomon's available, and that's what you want. You want players to get on the ball and show their authority.
Solomon again will take the corner kick where the Norman Hunter stand meets the Jack Charlton stand. Again, it's deep to the far post. Look at Tanaka, heads it into the side netting. Again, he was free at the far post, as he was from the corner that led to the opening goal. And he's dismayed that he couldn't get that on target because nobody went with him. Bristol City had not learned their lessons, but it stays 1-0.
I mean, is he frightened to get a bit of claret on his forehead here? Because I think he's got to score. I really do. He's been brilliant in the game so far, Tanaka, but if he's a little bit braver there, what, is it half a yard away out? He's just got to nod it towards goal. Yes, it's brave, but I think he's got to get his head on that and aim it towards goal.
TalkSport 2 is your home of the EFL. And don't forget, once the regular season is finished in Championship League 1, League 2, it's the playoffs. All the games, the first and second legs of the semi-finals, and the 3 Wembley showpieces on Bank Holiday weekend at the end of May, live and exclusive across the TalkSport network. No other radio station will bring you every single playoff game. That's what we're here for, because we love the EFL. Here's Hayden Roberts for Bristol City. Oh, he's got away down the left-hand side from Bogle, gets to the dead ball line, pulls it back. Wells has to run out to the left-hand side of the area to keep possession. Gives it to George Earthy, just turns away from Nonto, into the box once again. Earthy lays it back to the left-hand corner of the area, and McGuane tosses it up to the far post. He was looking for McCrory, but McCrory was caught on his heels, didn't make the run, and the ball drifts behind for a Leeds United goal kick. 1-0 Leeds lead.
Well, it's a good move, isn't it? They get a lot of bodies in the box. There's 4 players waiting in there. I know the last ball into the box from McGuane isn't the best. You're looking at 2 Bristol City players standing on the back stick there. Can someone make that run towards the near post, so he's got options of either whipping it towards the near post or the far stick? On this occasion, yeah, it's a bit floaty, but they're getting into better areas because they're now advanced a little bit more. It's those two older midfield players for me, Dance, Knight and McGuane. They've got to break away from the centre halves. They're doing their job. You do your job in the opposition's half. Get yourself back into the game.
TalkSport 2 at Elland Road with 8 minutes to half-time. Leeds United in front by a 1-0. They're threading the ball upfield looking for Peru, but that's well won back by Rob Dickie. Just stepped in front of his man, tried to play it along the deck down the left-hand side for Earthy, but Leeds tidied that up very, very quickly. And now it's Junior Firpo inside his own half. Tucks it in field to Ilya Gruev, the Bulgarian who joined from Werder Bremen a couple of years ago. Firpo wants a Barca, gives it back to Ampadu. Plays the ball along the deck over the halfway line for Solomon. Lovely little flick from Aronson to find Tanaka in the centre circle. He immediately tries to drive the ball out to Peru left-hand side, but a little ambitious from the Japanese midfielder. And it's a throw to Bristol City in their right-back position. It's 1-0, and we've now got, 6 minutes of normal time to the break on this balmy early summer's evening, it feels like, here in West Yorkshire.
And you've got the same stats as me, Dance. You're not going to win anything with that.
Expected goals for Bristol City 0.00 apparently.
Yeah, it's incredible. No corners, no shots on target. Look, they've got a chance of getting into the playoffs with a good performance here today, Bristol City. I know their away record isn't great and they're probably playing against the best side in the Championship, but ask some questions at least. No, somebody take a risk. Liam Manning's got to be absolutely tearing his hair out.
Well, he's standing at the edge of his technical area looking on as Leeds win it back. Down the left-hand side it goes, and Owen Aronson looked for Solomon, but he just couldn't sort his feet out, Manor Solomon. And so George Tanner will have another throw in for Bristol City. They've got options on the bench to do things differently. Sinclair Armstrong, who they signed from Queen's Park Rangers, is a much more physical, direct header of the ball, and somebody who could probably hold it up in the way that you were talking about earlier, Mickey.
Yeah, they need to do something. Because at the moment this game's just passing them by, and they're going into that final day of the season against Preston, and they're going to have to win that football match, you would think, to get into the playoffs. Look, no one's saying it's been a bad season for Bristol City. It's been a very good season, but try and finish it off. Try and prove how good you are against the best side in the Championship right now.
A reminder that a win for Bristol City, if they were to get it tonight, would guarantee their playoff place ahead of their final day game against relegation threatened Preston. That'll be one of the games that we'll have in focus for you on Saturday lunchtime. We'll have reporters at all the key games at 12:30 here on TalkSport 2 on the Championship's final day. Offside flag goes up against Manor Solomon. I'm going to be at the Coventry Building Society Arena with Chris Uwelemo for Coventry City against Middlesbrough. Those two teams are in with a playoff shout. So too are Millwall and Blackburn, but they've got tricky away ties. Blackburn at Sheffield United, Millwall at Burnley, who like Leeds are going for the title. Then you've got all the stuff going on at the bottom with Luton and Derby and Hull and Stoke and Preston.
And that's where I am, at the Hawthorns, West Bromwich Albion against Luton alongside Faker others. That's going to be fun.
Well, I did the commentary on Saturday of Luton against Coventry. Faye was at the Amex, and I got this horrible feeling I was going to hand back to a pool of water rather than Faye by the time the game had finished.
Oh, she enjoyed that one, I bet.
She did in the end. She hated me for about 89 minutes with no goals on the clock. Bristol City in possession. We're into the last 3.5 minutes of normal time. Leeds 1-0 in front. Jason Knight, for the first time in a long time, has a bit of time to measure a pass and finds Hayden Roberts on this near side, the left, but Nonto's got back goal side, so Knight tucks into the centre of the Leeds half. McGuane, he's got Peru at his back, snarling and snapping after him, but Bristol City have kept possession. Viner gives it back to Knight, just over the halfway line now. He's looking for an option, tried to play the ball into the feet of Bird, but Nonto comfortably intercepted. Ampadu has to turn, face his own goal and fire it back to Darlow under a bit of pressure from Earthy. That's calmly done by the Leeds backline, and Roden will just hit a long ball to the centre circle, but that's dealt with quite well by Dickie at the back for Bristol City. Roberts, now he can swing across in from deep, looking for Earthy, who's got into the area. Darlow comes out, doesn't get near it, and Leeds bailed out by Ampadu, who volleyed it clear as he slid into the edge of the area as Darlow came for a cross he was never going to make.
Oh, what a ball. Absolutely brilliant from Roberts over on this left-hand side. Earthy just has to be a bit braver.
Now Aronson down the right-hand side of the box for Leeds. Into Peru at the near post. He goes down under pressure from Dickey. Half-hearted claims for a penalty. James Bell, the referee, not interested. Yeah. Just over 2 minutes of normal time to go.
See Daniel Farke down there dance as well. He's waving his arms around, asking for the penalty. I think it would have been very, very soft. I think Pirot going to ground, had a look at the referee, but I think he knew himself. It was more him just losing his balance.
Manor Solomon once again jinking his way in from the far left-hand touchline, drives the ball up to the edge of the area. Peru was trying to turn it round the corner for Firpo, who made a run forward, but that's gone behind for a goal kick. And I guess, Mickey Gray, Liam Manning might actually be relatively happy to get his team in at just 1-0 down as things stand.
You're right. I was going to say the opposite. The only thing Leeds haven't done is get the second goal. Their performance has been excellent. They've done everything they need to do. They've been very professional and their movement's been fantastic. But I think if Daniel Farke goes into that dressing room at half time, he'll maybe have a word with Jayden Bogle and say, look, we could have been 1-up after 2 minutes. You think of that second header from Tanaka. They've had massive chances in the game to see it out and go and enjoy the football in the second half. Liam Manning will be quite pleased because they can't get any worse than this.
Leeds United owner Parag Marat is in the stadium tonight. He's jetted over from the States, maybe to have a conversation with Daniel Farke tonight. Well, I guess we'll get the upshot of that at some point. But the hierarchy are here, ostensibly just to celebrate promotion, but yeah, there's more to it than that. Certainly the way that it's been reported.
Kill two birds with one stone while you're here, dance. Don't need to fly over a second time to have a meeting to say if you're going to be still in your post or what players would you like.
Ball's out to the right hand side. Bristol City nod it infield. Bird keeps it away from Gruev. Went to ground cheaply trying to win a free kick, and the referee saw no free kick there. Now Leeds have tried to release Nonto down this near side the right, holds it up just level with the 18-yard line, passes the ball along the deck into Joel Peru. Peru at the edge of the area, surrounded by Bristol City shirts, but he still manages to get it back to Tanaka. Tanaka up to the edge of the area. Bogle tries to toe poke it through for Aronson, but just no room to operate in, just inside the 18-yard line, and the ball's back in the arms of Max O'Leary as the board goes up to indicate 2 minutes of minimum stoppage time at the end of this first half on TalkSport 2, your home of the EFL. Leeds United 1, Bristol City 0 it remains. Max O'Leary's going to clear from hands as he rolls it out in front of him, and now he'll fire it right-footed downfield, looking for Ross McCrory to win the header, but that's Ampadu who wins the header quite comfortably. Mickey Gray can't see because of the post directly in front of him. You'll be glad when those posts go, when they reconfigure this stand.
Like Goodison Park, isn't it?
Well, yes. What, only a couple of games to go there, right?
That's very true.
Here's Max Bird for Bristol City, finding Earthy. Knight picks it up now, gives it back to Earthy. He's got to tuck it back to halfway for Viner. Across it goes to Rob Dickey, once of Oxford United, into another former Marcus McGuane. Tanner now picks it up, looks for Bird, who tries to flick it down the right hand side for McCrory. Leeds have won it back. They've got another chance in stoppage time to add to the lead. Peru now picks it up towards the edge of the area, tried to toe poke it out to Nonto right hand side. Nonto's kept it in play, but the impetus of the attack has somewhat slowed. Tanaka now just inside the area, back heel for Firpo, right hand corner of the box. Chipped it to the far post, and it so nearly made its way through to Peru, but George Tanner just stretched his neck muscles and managed to divert it behind for a late Leeds corner. 1-0.
He did, and he had to get there, didn't he, George Tanner? Peru was just waiting there with his left foot just to slot that one into the back of the net. Good play from Leeds, build-up play, the lovely back heel from Tanaka. Absolutely, they're enjoying themselves.
And another corner to be taken by Solomon, right under the crossbar, headed away to the edge of the area. Nonto drives it back into a crowd of players, and it's blocked. One chance for Bristol City maybe to get the ball downfield, but it's tidied up for Leeds United at the back and sent back to Darlow, and James Bell blows the whistle for half-time, and that's very satisfactory from the round of applause, I think, from the Leeds United fans around us. They are heading back to the top of the Championship as things stand. But that applause is probably tempered a little bit by the fact that it is only 1-0 to Leeds United. The goal given to them by Ao Tanaka just before the midway point of the half. He'd won a header at the far post from a corner, stayed there as the ball was then recycled into the box by Solomon, and Tanaka at the far post tucks it away underneath Max O'Leary. They've had other chances to add to their lead. Solomon denied when one-on-one by a great save from Max O'Leary. Just the odd fleeting moment for Bristol City going forward, but their attitude, approach, formation surely must change if they're to have any chance in this second half. But it is only at half-time at Elland Road on TalkSport 2. Leeds United 1, Bristol City 0.
I'm sorry, I'm just looking at the stats here and I'm kind of taken aback. 76% possession for Leeds United. They've had 11 shots, 4 on target. No shots, none on target, no big chances for Bristol City. They've been fairly anonymous in that first half. I have to say the expected goals of 1.17 for Leeds United feels very low given the proximity from which Tanaka scored his goal and the huge chance he missed moments after. I think that's an understatement. Certainly should have been 2. We'll talk about, though, Mickey, the brilliant start from Leeds. They've deserved to go in front. Great tempo, great intensity. Tanaka got his goal. He might well take the Premier League by storm next season and really kept calm to put Leeds in front. It was no less than they deserved.
Yeah, well, Hugh, just starting with those stats, I actually thought my Wi-Fi had froze when I looked at Bristol City's. I've got to be completely honest with you. But you're right, look, to the game itself, they've just dominated Leeds. We said they'd come here and they'd enjoy themselves. They wanted to get that goal so they could just relax a little bit. But full credit, the movement of the front three has been fantastic. Tanaka, you just mentioned there in midfield, been absolutely outstanding. Thoroughly deserved to be in front. But as you said there before, it could be 2 or 3. Bogle's opportunity, Tanaka's header at the back stick. He just has to be a little bit braver in my eyes. I think if he just nods it towards the goal, he might take a little bit of a knock on his forehead from the post. But other than that, you can't criticise the performance. The only thing is they haven't got that second goal. But what are Bristol City doing? Honest to God, I mean, you've got a chance of securing your spot in the playoffs, and I know it's a difficult game. I think we're all in agreement there, playing against Leeds United. But show me something.
Yeah.
It's been poor.
But you're a playoff side. I mean, it's not like you're a relegation threatened side going away to Leeds United. You're 5th in the table. And the minimum you should be able to do is have a resolute defensive performance. You know, put 10 players behind the ball, 1 up there, if you know what I mean, as an outlet ball, but certainly have the organisation that you need to stop Leeds basically doing whatever they want. And they haven't been able to stop them at all. Big question marks for Liam Manning now at half-time. What do you think he will take from that first 45 minutes, albeit, once again, sorry, Mickey, most of it negative?
No, look, he's in that dressing room now, Hugh, and he's saying, look, as bad as we've been, lads, we're 1-0 down. We're still in this game. And he talked about staying nice and tight there, having 10 behind the ball. Well, look, you do that for the first 10 or 15 minutes when you're playing against a top side like Leeds United. But then as a manager and a coach, you're watching the game that I'm watching alongside Dan Sear. And I'm working out in my head, I'm thinking, right, OK, you've sorted out the pressure. The pressure's gone. The 15 minutes is gone. Now I've got to let my midfield players have a bit of freedom. Jason Knight and Marcus McGrain have got to get over that halfway line. If they start doing that, then Max Bird starts running forward. George Earthy down the left-hand side starts running forward. They get him behind. Naki Wells had that foot race with Rodon. He got him behind him. That's what they've got to try and do. And maybe this is one of the reasons why their away form's been so poor, because he's obviously thinking negative in his mind, Liam Manning, thinking, right, OK, let's not lose the game first and foremost. But if we can win football matches away from home, it'll help us start to climb the table. But they've won 4 games away from home all season. That is not good enough.
It feels like it's in their mind a little bit how bad they've been away from home. You know, you've got such a big carrot dangling in front of you in terms of reaching the top 6. You can't play with fear at Leeds United, despite the fact that they may well be, on their day, the best team in the league. You know, they need to offer us a lot more in that second half. Correct. I didn't think I'd be so disappointed. And actually, at times, just towards the break, they managed to get themselves up the pitch for a little bit of time, have the ball in the opposition's half for a little bit. They just haven't managed to do anything with it, per se, but they will need to sort that out, as I say, at half-time. I mentioned the miss from Tanaka. I mean, what's he done? He closed his eyes. What, he thought the post is going to try and tackle him? What's he done?
Do you know what, Hugh? And he's probably had a minute instinct to think about that. And when you see that white post in front of you, you forget about the ball, let me tell you. Because I think he looks at that post and thinks, oh wow, there's going to be claret all over my forehead here. And I think he just pulls his head back a little bit. And as he does that, the ball kind of guides its way towards that post rather than towards the goal. But it's a super ball towards the back stick, which he's found himself on a couple of occasions. That's where he got his goal from. And he's
unmarked freedom of the city.
You're right.
On a couple of occasions at that back post. I mean, even early chances that came, it was Tanaka hanging out the back post, waiting for a free header, and they haven't assessed it.
Yeah, completely right. I mean, the movement's been fantastic, but if you're a Bristol City midfielder, or if you're one of the centre halves, Hayden Roberts is, he's had a bit of a bad time, because I'm still working out whether he's playing left back, left centre half, or left wing. He's getting twisted all over the place because the players in front of him are not working hard enough. And I'm talking about George Earth. He's done it on one occasion. He's got to help back his track back. You've got to help your players out, because if you don't, that's why this Leeds United side are the top side. When they're in possession, they run 100%, but when they lose the ball, they get it back as quick as they possibly can. Not seeing that from Bristol City.
Not a great half from the visitors. They trail by a goal to 0. We'll be back with Mickey Gray and Ian Danter for the second half very, very soon. As it stands, Leeds are returning to the top of the table. It's Ayo Tanaka's tap-in, very well taken goal, which puts Leeds United in front at the break. Leeds United 1, Bristol City 0.
EFL Live on TalkSport 2 with McDonald's. Order McDelivery on the McDonald's app and get reward points too. 18 plus participating restaurants. Delivery fees and terms apply. See mcdonalds.com.
It's in here somewhere.
He's looking for a car finance agreement from 2012.
It's probably in a shoebox.
He wants to see if he can claim thousands in compensation for mis-sold car finance. He should just text DRIVE to 60777 and let mycarloanclaims.co.uk do all the work. For more information on our no-win, no-fee service, text DRIVE to 60777.
My car loan claims.
mycarloanclaims.co.uk is a trading style of a lawco, an SRA-regulated law firm.
CEF Live 2025 is the ultimate event in the electrical industry. 2 incredible days, packed with over 100 leading brands, showcasing all the latest innovations. Plus, you could win a brand new electric van worth over 45 grand and up to a grand's worth of free power tools every hour on the hour. It's all on the 5th and 6th of June at NEC Birmingham. This is an event you don't want to miss. Register now at ceflive.co.uk. CEF. Connect with the experts.
When you're growing a small business, you need someone who understands the ins and outs. And whether you're a tailor or an accountant, you need the tools to succeed. With an HSBC small business banking account, you'll have free accounting tools and access to our business specialists, virtually or in person. Because whatever your small business looks like, we're with you all the way. Search HSBC Small Business Banking Account to get started. Subject to application, eligibility, credit check and T's and C's. Visit hsbc.co.uk for details.
When you're setting up a new nest, starting your own flock, or they just keep on growing, get more time to pay with VeryPay. Buy now and pay up to 12 months later. And nothing to pay at checkout. Search VeryPay today. Very. Let's make it sparkle. Representative 44.9% APR variable. VeryPay credit provided subject to credit and account status by Shop Direct Finance Company Limited, 18+.
Co-op members now get prices matched to Aldi. Hold on, no way. Okay then, so Co-op members now get everyday essentials price matched to Aldi. So sign up and start saving. Co-op, owned by you, right by you. I wasn't expecting that.
Co-op member prices matched versus comparable products at Aldi GB. Co-op membership required. Co-op group food stores only. See co.uk/Aldi price match.
Feel the power and the glory. It's goal time.
And he scored. It's a brilliant goal.
Fired up and raring to go.
EFL Live
On TalkSport 2.
The title's still to be decided. If Leeds get a win, then their destiny on final day is very much in their own hands. Peru, edge of the D, trying to work an angle, plays it into Firpo, across the face of goal, and Bogle couldn't tuck it away from right in front. Aronson for Leeds United, finds Solomon just inside the area, left-hand side, goes for goal, pushed away by O'Leary. Solomon threads it up to the edge of the area. Peru lays it off to Aronson. Aronson takes the drive and it's blocked by the legs of O'Leary, and behind, back out to Solomon, left-hand side of the area. Gets a good ball to the far post. Tanaka! It had to come. It just had to come.
and it's out. Tanaka. That's brave dance. Goalkeeper coming off his line. You may be thinking you're going to get one from the keeper, but he keeps his cool, keeps it low. What a finish, what a player.
Aronson might get onto Solomon inside the area. Great ball through from Gruev. Saved by the keeper. What a stop from Max O'Leary.
Absolutely fantastic from Max O'Leary.
But it is only at half-time at Elland Road on TalkSport 2. Leeds United 1, Bristol City 0.
Yes, Aya Tanaka's 5th goal of the season puts Leeds United halfway towards returning to the top of the championship table on goal difference as they keep their pursuit of the championship title alive. A victory tonight, if they can come from behind, will put Bristol City guaranteed into the playoffs. But so far, they haven't played like a side who have anything to play for in terms of their first 45 minutes performance. Liam Manning will have to sort his side out for this big second half. It's coming for you very, very shortly here on TalkSport 2. In the meantime, if Leeds were to win the championship title, Burnley are making sure they're going to work for it. Both sides already promoted, of course, but the league title's still up for grabs. Yesterday, at the EFL Awards, our very own Adrian Clark caught up with the Burnley defender Maxine Stev, who was named in the Championship's Team of the Season.
We'll hope just win the title, so we will see on next Saturday, but that's a great season, great achievement for everyone, so we are very happy about this, so that's a good achievement for everyone,
Yeah, how much have you enjoyed playing for Scott Parker with this amazing defensive record? It's just quite astonishing.
Yeah, that's amazing. Honestly, that's a top manager. He has a great career about footballer, so he has great experience about high level. So that's amazing. We are 97 point now, so that's a great achievement. Yeah, also.
What's it like in training? You know, is he drilling you for hour after hour after hour? Because it doesn't come by chance or luck.
No, it's not like hour by hour, but we stay a long time in the training ground, sometimes for hard work, but he loved the hard work. He loved the unity and the desire about everyone, so he is a great manager and top guy.
Yeah. How excited are you about playing Premier League football?
Yeah, I'm excited. Honestly, that's the best league in the world, so everyone is excited about playing Premier League, so that's a really good time, and I know but Burnley is a Premier League Premier League club, so that's very good, honestly.
Yeah, I mean, at times you've made Championship football look very easy. Certainly ready. You feel ready for the step up, and do you think the team in general is ready to cope okay in the Premier League?
Honestly, we will see. We will see next season. But everyone is ready to play in Premier League. And honestly, we have one of the best dressing room I never see. It's crazy. Everyone is a friend in the dressing room, so that's amazing. Yeah.
Yeah. And what do you think is the secret to surviving in the Premier League? What is the secret?
Yeah, I think it's just hard work. If everyone work for everyone, that's the key for me. It's just the basics about the foundation. So if we keep this mentality and the desire to work for everyone, that's a good key, yeah.
So it will go right down to the wire. Burnley defender Maxine Estev there talking to Adrian Clark. Leeds certainly doing their part so far this evening. Burnley on the final day will try and take it right down to the wire, as I mentioned. We're going to have it all for you here on TalkSport 2. Coventry City versus Middlesbrough is our main game, 12:30 exclusively on Saturday. Faye Carruthers will be at the Hawthorns. Ian Danta and former Scotland striker Chris Ulumo on commentary, but we'll have all the goals as they go in, including big drama at the bottom on the final day of the Championship season. Remember, the final games in League 1 and League 2 will be covered for you over on TalkSport as well. Plenty of big games to come this week as well. Barcelona against Inter Milan on Wednesday night on TalkSport in the Champions League semi-final first leg. Thursday, we will have Nottingham Forest versus Brentford here on TalkSport 2. And at 8 o'clock on TalkSport, Athletic Bilbao against Manchester United. Spurs against Bodo Glimt in the Europa League semi-final will be available on the TalkSport app. And we'll have Manchester City against Wolves in the Premier League on Friday, exclusively live on TalkSport. Okay, let's head back to Elland Road. It's been a great atmosphere so far, the second half ahead of us. I wonder, Mickey Gray, who's there alongside Ian Danta, whether if you were Liam Manning, you'd be making changes at the break.
Well, I'm watching the most bizarre warm-up if they are going to make a change at half-time, and it's Sinclair Armstrong, who looks like he's going to come on for Bristol City in the second half, but he came out, basically got across the touchline right in front of him next to the dugouts, did about a keepy-ups for about 20 and then just kicked the ball towards the Leeds United supporters. and that was his warm-up. So I'm not sure if he's coming on or not, but I'd expect a lot more from somebody if they are. I don't think he is, actually, because he's took his seat now in the dugout. But it's a matter of time before they make changes.
So not exactly impressing on the manager that he should be coming on.
Not. It was unbelievable.
Would you make changes if you were Liam Manning?
Yes, I would, whether it's to the personnel or to the system that he's playing, because this system's not working for them. Whether they go to a 4 at the back and help somebody out in midfield, maybe put another body in midfield, but it's just about willingness and players wanting to do the hard yards and do that extra bit of running. If they don't do that, this game can get away from them.
So far, Leeds United cannot be stopped. You'd imagine the second goal, if it went to them, would be the nail in the coffin this evening for Bristol City. Will they turn things around? Live on TalkSport 2? I'll leave you for the second half with the former England defender Mickey Gray and TalkSport's Ian Danter.
Thanks, you. Both sets of players back out. No changes from either manager at the turnaround. Leeds in all white will be kicking from right to left as we look halfway back in the main stand. So the Revy end to our left is where Leeds will be heading, as they'd love to do in the second half of games. Bristol City get us underway in this second half, wearing their change strip of all black with a little bit of red trim, and they're kicking from left to right as we look towards the Norman Hunter end. The Bristol City travelling contingent are in the same stand as us, down to our far right hand side in the paddock area of the John Charles main stand. I'll run you through the lineups in a minute, but the pattern of the first half is already being picked up in the second. Leeds in possession, right hand side with Jayden Bogle, who had a great early chance to give Leeds United a goal within 5 minutes of the game starting, but just couldn't convert. But Tanaka did manage to get the job done. Tanaka, Bogle and Dan James were all named in the EFL Team of the Year at the EFL Awards last night. You just heard Adrian Clark chatting with Maxime Estev at those ceremonies last night. Leeds play the ball into the area. Firpo with a drive, hits the goalkeeper. Follow-up from Lonzo, brilliantly kept out by O'Leary on the follow-up. And then a third shot saved by O'Leary, this time from Bogle. And it ends up being a corner at the Revy end. And Max O'Leary is on a one-man mission to keep the score down at Elland Road, 1-0.
Well, what about that? The movement was brilliant from Leeds United. The chance from Firpo was fantastic. The save from O'Leary, outstanding. The second one came from Nonto, who was bouncing up in the air, but he somehow gets his body up, palms it away, and then a third comes in. Wow, if his players were working like that, they might be all right.
Corner kick sent in, headed away by Dickey for Bristol City, but Nonto will pick up the loose ball. And back to the centre circle, where Bogle, who had the last of those three chances, denied by Max O'Leary's brilliance from close range. Somehow it's still just 1-0.
What about that, Dance? I mean, look, you talk about your goalkeeper standing up and making the saves when he needs to. 3 in the space of, 6 or 7 seconds. Absolutely brilliant. He should be having a word with some of his players and say, right, OK, pull your sleeves up and do exactly what I'm doing. I'm working my socks off to win the game here and get us in the playoffs. If the players are looking at that, they should react to it.
Firpo heads the ball down, but McCrory wins it back. One of my first ever footballing memories as a little boy was Jim Montgomery making the most incredible double save for Sunderland in the FA Cup Final 73 from first Trevor Cherry and then Peter Lorimer. Well, O'Leary showing off. He's just made 3 saves from Leeds players in quick succession.
Wasn't it fantastic? Absolutely brilliant. Made a very good save in the first half as well. So he's certainly on his game, probably making saves that he doesn't want to make, Max O'Leary, but at least he's doing his job.
He's an academy graduate at Bristol City, as Max O'Leary. Made well over 160 appearances since his debut 10 years ago in the 15-16 season. Little push on McCrory. So the lineups: Darlow in goal for Leeds, Bogle, Roden, Ampadu, Firpo, Tanaka, Gruev, Nonto, Aronson, Solomon and Peru. For Bristol City, O'Leary the keeper, Tanner, Dickey, Viner, and then McCrory, McGuane, Knight, Roberts, Bird, Earthy and Wells. Foul on Naki Wells on halfway, and a yellow card for Ao Tanaka. So a goal and a caution for the Japanese midfielder.
Yeah, he won't worry about that too much. Tanaka just a little bit late with his challenge there. Referee comes straight across, yellow card. He's not one, certainly not in this game. He hasn't really had to make too many challenges, has he?
No. Ball's played into the feet of Naki Wells as Bristol City try and come forward, but Leeds win it back inside their own half. Manor Solomon just slips as he works the ball back to his keeper, Carl Darlow. And Darlow can size up his options, plays the ball out left to Ethan Ampadu at the left-hand corner of his own penalty area. Lovely ball swept across from left to right, and Roden can elegantly move towards the halfway line in possession. Now feeds Nonto, who can scurry down the right hand side. Bogle on the overlap. Also Arison in the penalty area, pulls it back to the 6-yard line, but Tanner, covering from fullback, comes across and puts it out of play for a Leeds United throw. 1-0.
Well, Nonto played the pass, but I tell you how he was able to do it was the overlap and run from Jayden Bogle. Ran from his own half, got past his wide player, then the gap started to happen. Brilliant ball in from Arison, just couldn't pick anybody out, but that movement's still there, what we saw in the first half.
Yeah, it was not just an overlap but an underlap as well. He had two options there. Willie Nonto picked the underlapping run of Brendan Aronson, but Bristol City repelled it. Nearly 5 minutes gone in the second half on your home of the EFL. TalkSport 2, Leeds United 1, Bristol City 0. And don't forget, you can call Jason Cundy and Jamie O'Hara from 10 o'clock on TalkSport, 03717 22 3344. Test Jamie and Jason's EFL credentials with your thoughts on this game this evening.
I see Bristol City are a little bit narrower in this second half, Dance.
Peru trying to thread the ball through to Solomon, can't take the ball at pace just inside the area, and it's a goal kick. You were saying, Mickey Gray?
Yeah, they're very narrow now, Bristol City, and they're making Leeds go on the outside, which is going to help them. But look, the crosses are going to come into the box because they're going to get joy, Leeds United, with the two wide players they've got in Bogle and Firpo. But what he's doing is it's asking questions now of the wide players. They're saying, right, quality, what quality have you got? The problem Bristol City have got now is the two wing-backs are playing as full-backs, basically. It's a flat-back five. They need to get them further up the pitch, and if they start to do that, when these Leeds United players start to tire a little bit, that's when they might get their joy.
Jayden Bogle for Leeds United hooks the ball up to the halfway line. Aronson scrambling for possession, but Bristol City win it back. Jason Knight just inside his own half, tucks it back to Rob Dickey. That's a neat ball. Up to Hayden Roberts on the halfway line, looks up and he plays it infield looking for Earthy, but didn't see the run that the Bulgarian Ilya Gruev made, and he comfortably wins it back for the home side.
Yeah, it's a wrong pass, wasn't it? Wrong option. Needed to go in behind the back line of Leeds United there. Don't try and play those cute balls into midfield, because Leeds United are they're bossing it in there at the moment. Give the ball away, and now they're going to be chasing it for the next 2.5 minutes.
Well, it's the Bristol City players who are warming up now. 5 of them down beneath us towards the Revy end, including Sinclair Armstrong, who's putting a bit more effort into this warm-up than the one he was doing at half-time that got Mickey all wound up.
Yeah, well.
Mind you, he's just stood stock still as I'm saying that now. They all are. They're looking on, hoping that Bristol City can get the ball downfield, but it's Leeds who've won it back. 7 minutes gone in the second half. If you're just tuning into EFL live on TalkSport 2, Ian Dancer and Mickey Gray with you at Elland Road, home of Leeds United, who are going back to the top of the table with this win. They go to Plymouth on the final day, whilst Burnley, who they will leapfrog into top spot with this win, they entertain Millwall, who've got designs on a playoff place themselves. Just one of the many either-ors that's going on Saturday lunchtime. We'll bring you all of that on TalkSport 2. Starts from noon. Mickey Gray will be calming Faye Carruthers as best he can at the Hawthorns, where West Brom are playing our beloved Luton. But our commentary again will be me and Chris Wellamo at the Coventry Building Society Arena. Two teams bidding for one of those final spots in the top 6. Coventry, Middlesbrough. And as things stand, there will be 2 places up for grabs, because Bristol City are getting nothing here at the moment. And they've got some defending to do. Brendan Aronson in the centre of the Robins half. Lays it back to first Rodon, then Ampadu. Solomon, always willing to pick the ball up deep, works it out to the left-hand side, the near side to us, and Junior Firpo. Now, lovely ball from Solomon, finds Aronson in the area, onside, twisting and turning, gets a shot away, it's weak and cleared away by Bristol City. Can they get it downfield and keep it in play on this near side? They can, through Max Bird. It's a lovely approach play from Leeds United,
yeah,
Mickey.
It was. I mean, was Aronson a little bit too greedy? Could he have laid it off again first time? He had a couple of runners just on the outside of him, tried to chop it onto his right foot, and the chance had gone then. As Bristol now are on the attack, it's starting to open up the game for the away team.
George Earthy in the inside left channel for Bristol City, plays a short 1-2 with McGuane, then gives it back to Marcus McGuane, who got his first start against Leeds United in the reverse fixture, McGuane, at Ashton Gate back in the autumn. That was when Liam Manning had actually made his return to the ground after the tragic family circumstances that happened to him during the course of October. Jason Knight gives the ball out to George Tanner on this right hand side, but there's no space for him to work in. Certainly couldn't make his way down that right hand touchline. White lead shirts blocking his path. So it's back to Knight on halfway. Earthy starting to make a run through the middle, but holding court on the far left hand side is Hayden Roberts. The crossfield pass won't reach him. It was well intercepted by Bogle, and then Tanaka lets the ball run across his body, protecting it from the attentions of Bird, and finds Junior Firpo. Strokes it along the deck up to Peru, just shy of the halfway line. Lovely turn from Joel Peru, and he plays a lovely ball through the centre for Willie Gnonto. Gnonto for 2-0! Never in doubt! What a ball from Joel Peru to split the Bristol City defence wide apart and put Wilfred Gnonto through one-on-one with Max O'Leary. And even though O'Leary made a brilliant triple save earlier in the half, nothing he could do to prevent Gnonto slotting it home at the Revy end and putting Leeds United 2-0 up and back on top. Leeds 2, Bristol City 0.
Now they can settle the nerves and enjoy this evening, Leeds United. They've been working so hard to get this second goal. Probably thought it was going to come before the half-time break, but it's come now. And Wilfred Gnonto, absolutely brilliant. You see the run, you see the pass from Peru. Time to perfection. Gnonto, that little touch to get him inside the 18-yard area. He waits for O'Leary to come off his line, and he just slots the ball in the back of the net. Absolutely brilliant. This place is bedlam at the moment. Every flag in the stadium is just incredible. The atmosphere is brilliant. Leeds United, what a team.
The free scarves that were on every seat are being waved around their heads once more. And Willie Gnonto has 2 in 2. Scored here against Stoke last time out in that 6-0 rout. And another one here. And that has prompted Liam Manning to make changes. And not just Sinclair Armstrong, who we mentioned before, but also Anis Mehmeti is going to be introduced. But we're back underway on TalkSport 2 with Leeds United 2 goals to the good. It's a slight injury for Ross McCrory on this near side, and he's just been spotted by the referee James Bell, and so Liam Manning will make the changes. I'm not sure whether Ross McCrory was one of those that was going to be withdrawn anyway, but Armstrong and Mehmeti are ready to be introduced, and the numbers are just being given to the fourth official, Anthony Backhouse, who will sort out the ons and offs in terms of numbers. McCrory, a bit of a walking wounded at the minute for Bristol City. Now he's got to make his way back into his own half, because here come Leeds United again. Gnonto, who's just scored that second. Bogle making a terrific run on his outside. He feeds Jayden Bogle down the right hand side of the box. What defending from Zach Viner to slide in, win the ball, get to his feet and bring it clear. That was very neatly done.
Yeah, very cool from Viner. Had to time it perfect, and he did so. But the run again, he's just won it back. Bogle, his running tonight has been sensational.
That's why he's in the team of the year.
Yeah, he's been brilliant, Dance, he really has. And he's one of those fullbacks who, he make an overlap, but he doesn't moan, he doesn't wave his arms around if he's not winning the ball. He just keeps making that run. Superb.
So the changes for Bristol City. Sinclair Armstrong's going to come on for Naki Wells, and Mehmeti's going to replace Max Bird. So it's like for like in terms of positional switches. Armstrong's a centre forward like Wells, Mehmeti an attacking midfielder like Bird. So no real change to the system of Bristol City as things stand, but a different presence up front in Sinclair Armstrong, who came through the ranks at QPR, scored 4 goals in 60 odd appearances and cost Bristol City just over £2.5 million.
Yeah, you're just wondering, Dance, whether they've actually made it too late now. You know, they could have done it when it was 1-0, give themselves a chance of maybe getting the ball into Leeds' half, and then Armstrong holding the ball up, bringing in the wide players to give them a better chance of getting that leveller. But now Leeds have got the second. I think Armstrong's going to be just chasing around. He's going to be chasing shadows. See these Leeds players now, the confidence is flowing through them, and they're not going to rush. They're going to be patient, they're going to bide the time and just wait for those chances. But what an evening this is at Elland Road.
Marching on together at full volume around us as Bogle, who scored 6 goals, we shouldn't forget, as well as creating a few assists.
He's a good player, Dan.
Right
sorry for jumping in, but you look at 3, 4, 5 of these Leeds United players, they can make the step up. They just need help. If Leeds spend wisely, they've got every chance of staying in the Premier League. Yeah, it's a big shout because it hasn't even started yet, but that's what they're going to have to do.
And now that Bristol City find themselves 2-0 down, they'll know that only Burnley have conceded fewer goals than Leeds, 29. Burnley have only conceded 15.
Yeah,
that's miserly.
Incredible.
And that's why James Trafford, Maxime Esteve and CJ Egan-Riley were all in the EFL Team of the Year. I bet there'll be every away seat taken at Home Park on Saturday lunchtime with Leeds fans travelling down. It's a long way down there for a 12:30 kickoff.
Oh, they won't mind that dance. It's party time. It's party time at Elland Road tonight. This is why we love the Championship.
Leeds 2, Bristol City 0 as we approach the hour mark on your home of the EFL, where every playoff game will be live along with TalkSport once we get into the month of May. Deafening noise as Solomon drifts down the left-hand side, gets into the area via a deflection to the dead ball line, tries to pull it back, and McCrory, who seems to have run off that injury, concedes a corner kick. 2-0 Leeds United.
Great play again, isn't it, from Solomon? Gets that little bit of good fortune, but he's been at it all night, trying to get to that byline, just loses his balance a little bit, doesn't he? But the energy levels and the tenacity to get there, superb.
I think that's 11 corners for Leeds United.
Wow.
As we move into this second half. At the Revie end, Solomon, right-footed, drives it into the near post, flies across the penalty area through a forest of legs, and Bristol City are able to get it clear through Hayden Roberts, but he can only find Nonto, who's tracking back towards the halfway line. You're listening to Leeds 2, Bristol City 0 in the EFL Championship, live on TalkSport 2 with McDonald's. Order McDelivery on the app and get yourself rewards points. 18 plus, participating restaurants, delivery fees and terms apply. See mcdonalds.com. Mickey Gray's alongside me, Ian Dante here at Elland Road, and as usual, when Leeds United are going well, you can barely hear yourself thinking here.
It's brilliant, isn't it? They're a great addition to the Premier League. I know that's been said before, but as I mentioned earlier, Dance, they can't keep being that yo-yo team up into the Premier League for a season and then straight back down again. This club's too big for that. It really is. One club city, great fan base, brilliant place to play your football, and if they get it right, this place, they can go places again.
Well, I wonder, with Parag Mirat here tonight from the board, whether this display is giving him cause for optimism that Daniel Farke's methods and his system and the way he wants his players to play is attractive to the ownership group, and they are going to be more than happy to keep the German on as he bids for a third Championship title success. He won the title twice at Norwich, and he actually said that even though he only spent 8 million on players at Norwich, they still finished with 22 points, which is more than any of the current bottom three have got in the Premier League this season.
Yeah, I understand where he's coming from, but I watched them when they came into the Premier League dancing. I just think he got it wrong, trying to play out from the back like we see a lot of sides do this time around. We've seen it with Southampton under Russell Martin, and it wasn't working, and stubbornness sometimes can get the best of you, saying I'm not going to change my ways. Well, look, it's a Premier League. It's a completely different animal to the Championship. You have to try and work to what's in front of you and try and get something out of the games.
62 minutes gone. Leeds 2, Bristol City 0 on TalkSport 2. Manor Solomon drifts inside from George Earthy, midway point of the half, finds Peru, lays it off to Aronson, rolls across to the right hand side of the box. Nonso unselfishly trying to pull it back across the face of goal for a teammate when he could have gone for goal. Admittedly, the angle was tight though, Mickey.
Yeah, Aronson, could he have had a shot himself? He worked the angle really well. It was one pass too many for me. I know Nonso was in a more advanced position, but he's inside the 18-yard area. Get your laces through it. Ask questions of O'Leary and that Bristol City goal.
Well, he's won a corner, Wilfried Nonto, where the Revien meets the Jack Tarleton stand opposite us. And the Bulgarian Ilya Gruev has gone across to take this corner. Be a left-footed in-swinger from the midfielder. Will he take it short to Nonto? He dummied to, but Mehmeti was out there to keep an eye on Nonto, who's now drifting into the penalty area. So in it comes from Grueff onto the 6-yard line. Heads go up. Firpo heads it wide. Falls to the turf in despair, thinking he should have got that on target. He rose highest of all, but couldn't direct his header goalwards. Goal kick, 2-0.
Yeah, it's a great ball, isn't it? See Firpo just getting away from his mark. A little nudge on him, maybe made it a little bit more difficult for him, but it nearly did creep into the far right hand corner. But brave from Firpo to try and get above everybody. Super header.
It's been a busy day of sport across the network. We had that fight announced, Usyk against Dubois, the rematch. And if you go to the TalkSport app that's been upgraded, loads of new stuff on there. There's loads of video content on there that you can check out, including when Usyk and Dubois were on White and Jordan with Martin Keown today. God, that must have been a cramped old studio with the 5 of them in there. TalkSport app, free to download for your phone, and it's had one heck of an upgrade. But loads of the stuff you already know on there. Listen to live radio, catch up with Listen Again. There's our live games tab, so you know what live football we've got coming up for you. Podcasts and our video content.
I've just seen Mehmeti there losing one of his pink boots.
Now, hang on. Let's not talk about coloured boots, because I saw the ones you were wearing yesterday in your charity game. Yellow, weren't they? Canary yellow?
You've got to try and stand out dance. I haven't got the long hair anymore. Remember I was at Wolves and the pink boots had just came out in that period, and Mick McCarthy said, I do not want to see a pair of those pink boots at this stadium.
That does not surprise me about Mick one little bit. Free kick to Bristol City. Out on the far touchline, they're attacking the Norman Hunter, and this can be worked into the box from that far side. There's plenty in that penalty area. Mehmeti standing over it. Earthy's standing at the edge of the box. Centre halves are up from the back. Armstrong's an obvious target. Whipped in by Mehmeti to the far post, but it's over the head of McCrory, who was closest to it. And it goes behind after one bounce for a Leeds United goal kick, and the hosts stay 2-0 up as we approach the midway point of the second half on TalkSport 2.
Yeah, I mean, they've not had many options, have they, from wide areas, Bristol City, to get that ball in the area, or should I say set pieces or corners. But when they do, it has to be better than that, doesn't it? You know, you're looking at the quality, no pressure on you to put the ball into that 6-yard area. Well, it's got to be better than that. Mehmeti just came onto the field trying to impress his manager. That was poor.
Still no shots, either off or on target, from Bristol City, whereas Leeds have had 17 attempts at goal, 8 on target, 6 big chances according to the statistics I've got in front of me here, but it is only 2-0, but they are firmly in control. I guess 3 of those big chances came in that one block where Max O'Leary was so brilliant.
He did, yeah.
Forgot about that, didn't I? Solomon for Leeds, left-hand side, faced up by McCrory. Oh, lovely quick feet from Solomon. Darts away down the left-hand side, looks up, 4 to hit in the box if he can get the cross in. Now being held up by McCrory, chips it in right-footed. Bogle heads it back across the facing goal, over the head of Firpo. Aronson volleys it over the bar on the bounce from the corner of the 6-yard box. And another chance goes a-begging for Leeds United, 2-0.
I mean, you talk about wide play. Mano Solomon is absolutely fantastic. You wait for the movement of your fullback. He tries to nick the ball, the little tic-tac away from his marker, and then what? He's not happy with that, so he pulls the ball back, tries to do it again, and then at the end of it puts a great ball into the box. It's pulled back towards that 6-yard area, and you're right, Bogle, Aronson just waiting there just to nod the ball into the back of the net. Super play.
Goal kick to Bristol City, thumped downfield by O'Leary. McCrory goes up for the header, but Ampadu there first with a strong header out for a throw-in on this near side. Adrian Durham's going to be hosting kick-off tomorrow night from Emirates Stadium. Regular updates of Arsenal's Champions League semi-final first leg against Paris Saint-Germain, and then we've got the first leg of Barcelona Inter live on TalkSport 2 on Wednesday evening, before 3 games on Thursday. On TalkSport, you've got Forest Brentford, their game in hand. Forest in the Premier League, they can go back third with a win at home to the Bees. And then from the Europa League, we've got Athletic Bilbao against Manchester United on TalkSport 2 at 8 o'clock on Thursday. At the same time, on the new improved TalkSport app, you can check out commentary of Spurs against Bodo Glimt in the Europa League as well.
What a week of football on TalkSport and TalkSport 2, Dance.
We are spoiling you like the bloke with the chocolates. Right hand side, Bogle for Leeds United. Oh, Nonto's in space, drifting out to the right hand side. Early ball up to Peru at the edge of the area, being held up, rolls it across to Firpo just next to the D, gives it back to Gruev, urged to shoot, tries to play a 1-2, comes out to Solomon, he's going to curl it goal. Does he? No, he gets too much on that, right underneath it, and it went way over the top for a goal kick to Bristol City with just over 20 minutes to go at Elland Road. 2-0.
Yeah, he's always leaning back there, wasn't he, Solomon? Good play again from Leeds, from right hand side, switched over to the left hand side. See, Solomon was always trying to just look for that little half a yard, but when he got his head down to try and whip it, you could see he's back. He leant back a little bit. That's why it went sky high over the top of the crossbar.
So Leeds will be back on top, 97 points, same as Burnley, but they're 11 goals better off, plus 62 to Burnley's plus 51. And Leeds go to Plymouth on the final day whilst Burnley entertain Millwall. You do not expect a goal swing in Burnley's favour, even though they put 5 in on Easter Monday. Leeds' destiny in their own hands in terms of the title. And they've defended well as McCrory tried to bring the ball down out the sky at the corner of the Leeds penalty area. Leeds have it back with Firpo, slightly loose ball in field, but Gruev did so well to win it back. And what a ball threaded down the touchline for Manor Solomon, who's now charging at the Bristol City backline up to the edge of the area. Solomon gets into the box, he's still holding on to the ball, but he runs into Rob Dickey. Tried to do too much, but then Dickey's ball given away to Jayden Bogle, who got in front of Mehmeti. Down the right hand side of the box for Leeds, infield for Tanaka, urged to shoot, he's going to shoot, but it's straight at Max O'Leary, who can comfortably pat it down in front of him, and it stays 2-0 to Leeds United.
Initially on the left hand side, absolutely brilliant, the ball from Gruev down the left hand side to Solomon, but when it goes over and they think you lost the ball, who's over there? Jayden Bogle yet again.
Mehmeti puts a ball into the box, it's way over the head of Sinclair Armstrong, who was really the only player in the box ready to receive it, and Mehmeti apologises for the overhit cross. Sam Bell's going to be on in a minute, another Bristol City Academy graduate, and also Scott Twine, who's been nursing a knee problem, and Liam Manning has been loath to use him too much. I think he wants to keep him for the playoffs, because if ever they
get there first.
Well, yes, that's true. As things stand, they'd still have work to do. They would stay in 5th, Bristol City, on 67 points, but you'd have Coventry on 66, Millwall 66, Blackburn 65, and even Middlesbrough 64 got a better goal difference than Bristol City, so they can get level if Bristol City were to lose to Preston on Saturday. And if Middlesbrough won at Coventry, they go above the Robin. So, oh boy, it's all to play for.
It is dancing. Look, a performance like this, you don't know what it does to morale and momentum of your team. That's going to be 2 games in a row that they've lost. They're not playing well. They're not getting any shots on target. You're wondering where that goal's going to come from. Yes, they're in front of their home supporters. You'd expect more. And we already mentioned that Preston are not in great form. But it's the last day of the season. They should have had this done and dusted, Bristol City. They should have actually been in the playoffs already, but it's all still to do.
And I've no doubt that proud Yorkshireman Paul Heckingbottom, he must be here tonight, or one of his Preston team will be here scouting what's going on. Might have picked up some pointers. Here's Nonto for Leeds, 2-0 up on TalkSport 2. Out to Junior Firpo, left-hand side. Lays it off to Tanaka at the edge of the centre circle. He runs forward 10 yards or so and then clips it out to Bogle on the far right-hand side of the field. Tanaka again. Lays it off to Joe Roden. Now Gruev picks it up. The Bristol City substitutions have to wait for a moment. Manor Solomon lets the ball come to him, then just tries to jink away from Ross McCrory. Ball up to the edge of the area. Offside flag goes up against Junior Firpo. That will allow the changes to be made. Twine and Bell coming on. Earthy is coming off to allow Twine to come on, and Sam Bell is coming on for Ross McCrory, who I mentioned picked up a bit of a knock earlier in the half. TalkSport breakfast back in the morning from 6 a.m. You got Shabana Hearn with early breakfast at 5 if you're a proper early bird, and then Ali McCoist and Andy Townsend looking after things from 6 a.m. with guests including Lee Dixon and PDC dart star Stephen Bunting. As Bristol City win a corner. A rare corner. Might be their only corner of the game, I think. And they're taking it quickly. Scott Twine puts the ball into the box. It's headed away by Tanaka. Drifts out to Sam Bell, his first involvement on this near side of Bristol City right. Gets up to the right-hand corner of the area, drives at Firpo, digs out a decent cross, headed up in the air by Dickey, volley towards goal but wide by Twine. His first proper involvement, can't connect with the volley as it dropped out of the sky, and it's a goal kick to Leeds. Got to be careful with Scott Twine though, he doesn't deal in tap-ins when he scores, they're almost always 35-yard thunderbolts, it seems to me.
Dan, I mean, to be fair, if he connects with that one right, it's coming out of the sky, it would be a decent finish because it's on the half volley. It's just his timing of his finish is really, really poor. I just wonder why they took that corner so quickly. Yeah, it nearly came off for them, but wait until everybody's set, get some centre halves into the 18-yard box, because they've not defended too much tonight, they've just been all over the place. Give them a chance to go and get themselves back into this game late on, yes, albeit. But it was a quick corner. It was, Bristol City had two players in the box. So hard to pick out one of your teammates.
You've missed none of the action, by the way, because Jayden Bogle's been down for the last few minutes.
You know what we want now, don't you?
You want Harry Gray, don't you?
Yeah, I do. I think it's perfect for him. Give him a little bit more game time. 15 minutes at the end of the game with a bit added on at the end as well. I want to see what he's all about.
I'm not sure you're going to see him quite yet. I mean, Bogle, he might be being replaced here. I mean, Joshua Gilavogi is a potential player that could come on. Not sure whether he was summoned back to the bench by Daniel Farker just then. Anyway, back underway, less than quarter of an hour to go. Leeds United 2, Bristol City 0. Leeds going back to the top of the Championship, and they will be ahead of Burnley on goal difference, ahead of Saturday lunchtime's final day of action live on TalkSport 2. Coventry Middlesbrough are commentary centrepiece, but we'll have reporters at all the key games in the Championship, with the playoff and relegation issues and the issue of the title, I should not forget, to be decided, because it's definitely to be decided as things stand.
What do they do with that trophy, the dance? Is it going to be in a helicopter?
Helicopter job, in it. Or do they have one made of chocolate?
Have they got a replica?
Yeah, a replica made of chocolate or something.
Right, okay.
Try and pass it off as the real thing.
It's not a hot day.
It may well be, based on the forecast I've seen. Ball floated into the Bristol City area, headed away by Tanner. Nonto nods it down for the effervescent Tanaka. Nonto again, centre of the Bristol City half, lays it off to Gruev, calmly rolls it back to Ethan Ampadu. Changes will be made. Patrick Bamford's going to come on, and Laji Ramazzani, I think, is the other player that's going to be on for Leeds United sooner rather than later. So Mickey Gray does not get his wish, but it's not your birthday anyway, so you don't get a wish.
Scored yesterday, deserve it.
You keep going to go on about scoring that goal, honestly.
Yeah.
I suppose. How many did you score in your career, professional career?
It was my right foot, dance.
That's what counts, right?
Of course.
Okay. You scuffed it, right? You went to hit it with your left and it bounced in off your right.
Probably.
Bristol City trying to get a foothold in this game. They've got 13 minutes to try and put the nerves up Bristol City, Leeds United, and they've got Twine trying to slide it through for Sam Bell. Mehmeti picks it up at the edge of the area but runs into Ampadu, who stays on his feet, classily wins the ball, drops his shoulder to get away from a midfielder, and Leeds United have it back.
Great, it's great, isn't it? All the plaudits when they've got the ball and their movement in those forward areas, but defensively, Firpo throwing his body on the line. You've got Bogle getting him back into a really good position, making it really hard, and then Ampadu just cool as a cucumber, wasn't he? Absolutely brilliant, calm as you like, and look, the Olays have started now.
Yeah, every completed pass getting the cheer. Bamford and Ramazzani wait. Ampadu keeps diverted it out of play for a Bristol City throw. So Patrick Bamford about to make his 16th substitute appearance of the season. Hasn't started in the Championship all campaign, Patrick Bamford, but he's going to get a run in place of Joel Peru, who doesn't add to the 4 goals he got here a week ago.
Yeah, just freshening it up, giving players the opportunity, and Bamford, been a difficult season for him, hasn't it, with injuries and lack of game time. I mean, just listen to that reception. 7 or 8 years now he's been at this club, and he scored a lot of goals, so I think the respect's still there. You just wonder, moving forward, Dance, is he going to be somewhere else plying his trade? But he gets his chance now, doesn't he, which is nice to see.
And the other change, she's Willie Gnonto, who scored the second goal tonight for Leeds coming off, and another diminutive attacking player, Laji Ramazzani, who arrived from Almira in the summer. He gets a few minutes to show what he can do. 4 goals in the Championship for him. Can play on either side of that 3 behind the 1 for Leeds United, and he's gone out to the right hand side that Gnonto was occupying. Throw into Leeds, bang on halfway. 10 minutes to go on TalkSport 2. Leeds United 2, Bristol City 0 on EFL Live in the Championship. Over on TalkSport at 10 o'clock, it is the Sports Bar with Jason Cundy and Jamie O'Hara taking your calls after a busy weekend. Firpo for Leeds United in the box, left hand side, across the facing goal, and Ramazzani's first touch is to make it 3-0. Brilliant run and ball across from Junior Firpo, and the little Belgian stole it at the far post to seal the points on a party night at Elland Road when they drive back to the top of the Championship table with another convincing win in front of their own supporters. Huge delight at Elland Road. Ramazzani makes it Leeds 3, Bristol City 0.
Well, it's absolutely fantastic. It's the exact reaction you want from a player who's been on the bench and come onto the pitch. But you set things up, Dance, in a training session, and it was absolutely perfect. Ball goes into midfield, you've got your full-backs getting in behind the back line of Bristol City. He's on the run, and first time he just looks up and he whips that ball to that far stick. It's so easy for Ramazzani. He's just got to make good contact with it, and he knows he's scoring. It's absolutely superb, and it's all that Leeds United deserve tonight.
He's been starved of minutes, really, Laji Ramazzani. Last goal was in January against Sheffield Wednesday, but he couldn't miss. But he had to get himself in the right position not to miss, and his positional sense at that far post was outstanding.
Well, Dance, that's 92 goals Leeds United have got now, and every other accolade and every target they've reached. They've got a chance of 100 points next week against the Plymouth side, who are down and out, only still in the league because of goal difference, but it's about 14 or 15 goals they need. You just wonder whether Leeds United turn it on and the manager says to them, well, go and try and get 100 goals.
Well, the Leeds record is 98 goals for a season. That was back in 1927-28, so it's a little while ago.
Yeah. Who's to say that they can't do it? The firepower that they've got and the movement and the way they've approached this game.
Firpo now defending at the other end, having set up that third goal. Protects the ball from Sam Bell, works it down this near touchline to Solomon, who he turned it infield and gave it straight to Jason Knight. Across to Scott Twine. Now McGuane in the centre of the Leeds half, as Bristol City desperately look for some sort of consolation from this game. Tanner will swing across him from the right hand side. Ampadu stoops to head clear for Leeds United. 6 minutes of normal time to play on TalkSport 2. Leeds 3, Bristol City 0. Down the left hand side, Mehmeti finds Hayden Roberts, ball into the box looking for Twine, but before he thought he was going to get his foot on the ball, it was stumped clear away from him by Joe Roden. And then Bristol City keep possession on the left hand side. It's worked infield to Jason Knight, and Knight will give it back. We are going to see more changes, and Joshua Gilavogi, big centre back's going to come on, and Matteo Joseph as well, for another bit of firepower for Leeds to add up front. But they've got some defending to do here. Roberts for Bristol City finds Bell with his back to goal at the edge of the D. Flicked out to the right-hand corner of the box, and Scott Twine. Twine's going to go for goal. That one's well over by about 3 or 4 yards for a Leeds United goal kick away to our right. And this should mean that the changes will be made before Carl Darlow gets the ball back into play. And it's going to be Brendan Aronson, who I think has won back the hearts of Leeds United fans after leaving in somewhat sour circumstances initially, but coming back to the club after a loan spell. I think his industry and his energy has got people back on side. And Tanaka comes off to allow Joseph to come on. So they've taken off a defensive midfielder and thrown on an extra forward. Yeah, they want more goals here, Mickey Gray, I reckon.
I was just having a look at how long was left after I came up with that statement of trying to get 100 goals, and there was 7 or 8 minutes. Who's to say that they're not going to get more goals tonight, Leeds United? I'm sure they would actually love to get 1 or 2 more. It's going to be difficult for them, but you're right, it just shows the strength of the squad, the players that they're bringing off the bench. Everybody wants to get involved, and look, they're going to go for it. They're going to keep going to try and get that 4th goal this evening. As I said before, what a target that is, to try and set yourself. Get 100 goals at the end of the season. 100 points, 100 goals. Not many sides in the Championship have done that.
Giavogi's come on, who, much like Bamford, is making his 16th substitute appearance in the Championship and hasn't started a game in the league this season. Normally a centre-back, but it looks to me like he's playing in Tanaka's position in front of the back 4. Receives it now and gives it back to Joe Rodon. Less than 4 minutes to play. Firpo for Leeds United. They're going to have a lap of honour at the end of the game here, and boy oh boy, nobody is going home. Nobody has left their seat. Might be a few Bristol City fans that have drifted back to the coaches, but the Leeds fans, not a bit of it. They're sticking around, Mickey, aren't they?
Yeah, they're going to enjoy every single moment of it, and why not? And this is why supporters come to watch their team week in, week out. This is why players play football week in, week out, for moments like this. Successfully got themselves back into the Premier League last time out with a 6-0 thumping, and they just want to add to that. They want to keep this momentum going. It's brilliant.
36,310 inside Elland Road. Give it a few years and they'll be hoping the attendance is nearly 20,000 more than that.
Yeah.
With the plans being unveiled this afternoon online by Leeds United to expand Elland Road. Leeds trying to expand their midfield, and they work it through to Ramazzani into the area, tucks it back to the penalty spot. Joseph can't get the shot on target. Given back to Bogle, floats the cross in, headed away by Dickey. Only as far as Gilavogi finds Gruev. Gruev into the box. Ramazzani turns and shoots, and a good save low down at his near post by O'Leary. Keeps it down to 3-0 to Leeds United.
Oh, what a move.
Maybe should have been 4.
Yeah, you're right. Ramazzani, I think he could have got his shot away again early. The ball through to him. You see his pace to get away from him. He got the chance to have the shot. Tries to chop it back onto his right foot. There's players waiting there just to pop the ball into the back of the net, but it needed to be better quality. It was Joseph who was just behind him a little bit, but again, movement from Leeds, excellent.
Sam Byram's going to be on as well, so Mickey Gray's going to... Oh, he's going to spit his dummy out here, Mickey Gray. Sam Byram's coming on.
I'm going home.
Means no Harry Gray. And the change has been made, and it's a straight swap. Junior Firpo is going to get a few minutes rest. Great setup for the 3rd goal tonight from Junior Firpo. And they will stand to applaud the number 3, and he's off, and Sam Byram will come on and get a few minutes in his place. Came back to Leeds United. He was a youth player here, then spent a long time at Norwich City.
You know, you're talking about, sorry, Dance, that Aronson move, you know, having to leave the club. I think that was down to FFP and stuff, wasn't it, with the club, and it just, the situation that Leeds United found themselves in. And I think it's great that he's been able to come back and prove what a very good player he is. And you're right, the reaction from the Leeds supporters to him has been excellent.
It is possible that you can work your way back into football supporters' affections. Think of Granit Xhaka at Arsenal all those years ago. Remember that red card against Crystal Palace?
Yeah, very much so.
I thought there was absolutely no way back for him there.
And the complaints at the end, you know, he's throwing his shirt, waving at the supporters.
All that.
Well, he got himself back in the good books, didn't he?
Eventually. We're at the Emirates tomorrow night. Adrian Durham hosting kick-off. Regular updates of Arsenal's Champions League semi-final first leg against Paris Saint-Germain. They did for PSG at the Emirates in the Giant League stage earlier in the season, but they're a different beast, I think, now, Paris Saint-Germain, certainly since the new year. So we're about to find out how much added time we've got here at Elland Road. The board goes up, an extra 4 minutes to play, but to that now. Leeds United in possession on halfway. 4 minutes on the board. Are they going to get 4 goals on the night? Well, they're away again down the right-hand side, Leeds, with Ramazzani. Early cross into the box, looking for Bamford, but it's deflected behind by Hayden Roberts for a Leeds United corner, and Bristol City look knackered.
Well, they want the full-time whistle, don't they? I think everybody looked across at the fourth official there and saw 4 minutes go up, and the heads just dropped. They want to get off this pitch as quick as they possibly can and get on that M62 and start to drive home towards Bristol if they're going to take the coach. I believe they flew here today, actually, Dance. But look, it's not been their day. They've got one big opportunity next weekend, and it is a massive game now.
Preston will be their guests at Ashton Gate on the final day of the season. Leeds corner, flicked on by Bamford at the near post, almost works its way through to Byram, who coming at the near post. Bristol City clear. Bogle collects it on halfway. Again, the Leeds fans say shoot, which is a little ambitious, although O'Leary is slightly off his line. But even Mickey Gray wouldn't try it from that distance.
Good reach.
And it goes to Solomon on the left-hand side, approaching the left-hand corner of the penalty area. Joseph tucks it back to Ampadu, and Rodon next to him. Sinclair Armstrong has barely had a kick since coming on as a substitute. Ball downfield, bounces through to Max O'Leary. What have you spotted, Mickey?
Well, I'm just hearing the singing Daniel Farker's name, and we've had that conversation in the build-up to this game, Dance, and the appreciation's there. I think that's fantastic, I really do.
Someone get a camera on the executive boxes, see if they're applauding him.
Standing ovation as well. Everybody's getting on their feet. I think that's fantastic, I really do.
Huge appreciation for what Daniel Farker has done. He's on the verge of a 3rd title success as a manager in the Championship. Brilliant effort. We played 2 minutes of the 4 being added on. Hayden Roberts coming forward for Bristol City, but Ramazzani back doing his defending. Sees it go out of play for a Robbins throw. And he's already having a little shake of the hands and a hug with Liam Manning, because I think Liam Manning's going to disappear down the tunnel pretty quick, sharp. Daniel Farker's still got his heavy coat on. He must be sweating cobs under there. It's not cold in tonight, is it,
No,
by any
it's
stretch?
not. It's not.
Bristol City have a chance with McGuane to drive the ball goalwards, and that's their first effort on target, which gets away from around us here at Elland Road, but it was straight at Carl Darlow, who made a very comfortable stop.
Yeah, some sarcastic cheers, I think, from the Leeds United supporters, wasn't there? But you're right, first shot on target. What, 92nd minute from Bristol City? My goodness, that is not good enough.
Leeds in possession with Gilavogi. Plays it out to the right-hand side, and Jayden Bogle. Gilavogi receives it again. Well, that's a poor touch, almost allowed Armstrong in, but instead Gilavogi just clips it across to Joe Rodon. Now Ampadu just jogging to the midway point of his own half. The job is done for Leeds United. They don't need to exert themselves anymore, although Joseph was just making a great run through the inside left channel, but not used. And here's Grueff instead.
Still making those runs, Dance, aren't they? There's another one.
Well, Ramazzani's making a run through the middle, picked up by Grueff, brings it down and fires it left-footed. What a brilliant 4th goal to set the seal on another magical night at Elland Road. The ball over the top man, Ramazzani darting in behind the Bristol City defence. It dropped over his left shoulder, he let it bounce and then drilled it low on the half volley past the helpless Max O'Leary, and that is the cherry on the icing on the Championship cake for Leeds United. Leeds 4, Bristol City 0.
Superb, absolutely superb. The patience you could see from back to front, waiting for those runs, and Ramazzani he takes a chance. He starts to make that run. I say if you make runs in this team, you will get picked out. The diagonal's superb over the top. His first touch is outstanding, and the second one even better. Just fires it low, right into the bottom corner. Gives O'Leary absolutely no chance. And I count that now 93 goals, Dance.
Dead right. The first touch with his right foot was sensational.
It's been a sensational night for Leeds United. They go back to the top of the Championship in style as they go goal crazy once again. 10 goals in their last 2 home fixtures, 4 here tonight against a Bristol City side whose destiny is still not sure. They can still make their way into the playoffs if they get the win against Preston at the weekend. But here tonight, Leeds United put them to the sword. Outanaka with the first goal as we approach the midway point of the half. That was the score at half-time, 1-0. Willie Gnonto fired home a second 10 minutes after the restart. And then 2 goals in the last 10 minutes from substitute Laji Ramazzani set the seal on another brilliant night for Daniel Farke, and that must have impressed those from the Leeds United ownership group who've travelled across to speak to him and wallow in these celebrations as the Leeds players prepare for their lap of honour at Elland Road. A night of celebration, a night where they've got themselves back to the top, and their title destiny is still very much in their own hands. Full time at Elland Road, Leeds United 4, Bristol City 0.
While Leeds United and their fans will be celebrating long into the night. They did it last Monday, why not do it again after their final home game? Willie Gnonto out in the middle of the pitch showing us his best moves. They're absolutely buzzing. They're 3 points away from the Championship title now, Mickey. They got the job done in style tonight, really positive in that second half, and it felt like they were playing on cloud 9.
Well, Hugh, I have to say from start to finish, it was a professional performance and it was absolutely fantastic. I think we've seen a gulf in quality from Leeds United to Bristol City, and we're talking about the top of the Championship. That's how good you have to be to get promoted, and Bristol City are now sweating next weekend as to whether they're going to finish in one of those playoff positions. That's how big this difference was. It was absolutely superb from the home team today.
It's ridiculous in terms of what that result does for Bristol City. I said before the game, you don't want to lose 3 or 4-0. 4-0 defeat is exactly what Bristol City got. It means their goal difference is now +4, Mickey. It's exactly the same as Coventry's. Blackburn's is +5 at the moment. 67 points for Bristol City, who are 5th. 66 for Coventry in 6th. Millwall in 7th, and 65 points for Blackburn. They can still be caught by Middlesbrough, who have a goal difference of +10, who are on 64 points as well.
You're giving me a cold sweat thinking about all the ramifications ahead of Saturday lunchtime. I'm not going to be able to keep up with all of this. Madness.
I'm just highlighting, hopefully you've kept up with me in terms of how close things are for Bristol City, but also just how damaging that result could be.
I think that last sentence you've just given me there, Hugh, sums it up. It's the manner of the defeats from Bristol City against Luton Town and here today at Elland Road against Leeds United. They came here this evening to spoil a party. Well, they spoilt their own party because that was not good enough. The 92nd minute, your first shot on target, is really, really poor. And I know we want to try and big Liam Manning up for the job that he's done at Bristol City, but if you want your club to get into those playoff spots on the final day, you have to be better than that. I just hope that they've left something in the tank in front of their home supporters against Preston to put on a show, because if not, you just mentioned the sides behind them: Coventry, Millwall, Blackburn, Middlesbrough. They're waiting in bated breath to leapfrog them and go into those playoffs, but they just never got going tonight, Hugh. They really didn't. He didn't really change anything up. The first half was really poor. You think it couldn't get any worse. It was too easy for Leeds to get in behind and break them down, and at the end of the game, the final 15 minutes, Leeds made changes. They just freshened things up and they just took them to the sword.
I should just mention, Hugh, that they've put a promoted 2025 little podium on the pitch Not a single Leeds fan has left to go home. They're all still here, ready to celebrate, and the players will be out shortly to crack the champagne bottles. They're not going to receive a trophy here, of course they can't, because they're going to have to wait till Sunday, but they get to celebrate in front of their own fans ahead of the trip to Plymouth on Saturday, and that's going to go off in the next, 4 or 5 minutes when the players are ready.
They go to Plymouth, as you mentioned, to wrap up the title. Burnley will host playoff chasing Millwall on the final day. You'd expect Leeds to get the job done, especially on the evidence of tonight, Mickey.
Yeah, and as I said to you, it's crazy to think like this, but as a player and a manager, I talked about the goals that Leeds United got tonight, which takes them to 93. They've got a chance of 100 points. And the quality that they've got, Leeds United, they can go and play against Plymouth and they can score 7 goals. And that would be absolutely brilliant. They could have 100 goals, 100 points. And as I mentioned in commentary, there's not many sides have done that in the Championship, and it's something that doesn't get forgotten. And this Leeds side have got the quality to go and score 7 goals, so Plymouth have to be on their guard.
Daniel Farke got a standing ovation as well at the end of the game. Really important message sent to the hierarchy of Leeds United, who were present inside Elland Road tonight. Not just the gratitude, I think, that goes towards the manager, thoroughly deserved in terms of what they've delivered this season. But we talk so much about momentum. It's not just momentum in terms of results. This is a football club that is together at this point in time, that are marching on together, that clearly are in a good place. Why would you want to disturb any of that?
Well, me and Dance, we didn't tell you this before kick-off, but we had a secret camera in the TalkSport studios and we seen you stand up. So contrary to what you said before kick-off, I think these Leeds United supporters really want Daniel Farke to be given the opportunity.
I think Hugh's right. There have been a few little murmurings of discontent at times, Hugh. I think the decision to stick with Illan Meslier as goalkeeper for as long as he did, I think that did irk one or two.
Yeah.
But he took the decision in the end to change things around and bring Carl Darlow in. Just 1 or 2 moments where things have been questioned, but by and large you can't argue, as Mickey says, with the fact that they're potentially going to score 100 goals this season and get 100 points. There's Birmingham City fans I know who are complaining about the way we've done this season. We've been unbeaten at home all campaign. Honestly, there are some people who are not happy unless they're unhappy.
Well, I think you look at Leeds United as a whole, Danson, as a squad, and Hugh as well, right? And you go, right, okay, what's Leeds United's budget? Because a lot of clubs in the Championship, League 1 and League 2, they always say, they've got the biggest budget. They should go and just breeze the Championship. It's harder to do than that. You can go out and bring the best players in, but you've still got to make them all gel together and be a good footballing side. And of course, in periods this season, they've had a bit of a sticky patch, but they have got one of the biggest budgets. They have got one of the best squads, if not the best squad in the Championship. So they are where they are, and they should be top of the table with 1 game to go. But the manager has still got to put those players together and get the best out of them, and that's throughout the whole of the season, through 45 games. He pretty much has done that.
Dan, how does this football club sustain themselves for a tilt at the Premier League next season? That they have been far and away such good quality, the most entertaining team in the league on their day. They need to bring something different, of course, to the Premier League. They're not going to be able to play the same way. But what do they need to change to make sure we don't get another season where all 3 teams go back down and into the Championship once again?
I don't personally think, and this has been talked about a lot, after 30-odd years of the Premier League, 2 seasons in a row where the 3 promoted teams have gone back down does not a trend make, in my opinion. That would have to be sustained for 4 or 5 seasons before I think this is a serious problem. I think Leicester, Southampton definitely had issues coming into the Premier League. Ipswich not so much, and it didn't work out for them either. But with Leeds, I think the same as any team here that gets into the Premier League, look through the spine of your team and strengthen. Find a goalkeeper, centre-half, centre midfielder and centre forward, because what we've seen tonight, some of the lovely football we've seen on the flanks, Bogle's work down the right, Firpo on the left, Nonto, Solomon, and then Ramazzani coming on. Lots of lovely maverick skill out in the wide areas, but when you ally that with the tenacity of a Tanaka and a Gruev in midfield, maybe somebody else, you've got Ampadu and Rodon at the back, pretty solid. Another clean sheet here. Only Burnley have conceded fewer than Leeds. There's good signs here, Hugh. You don't stay ahead by standing still, of course you don't. So you've got to box clever and find the right people to add to what you've got. But with Daniel Farke saying, look, I only had £8 million to spend when I got Norwich into the Premier League, maybe now he gets the chance to flex his financial muscle as a manager in a way that he's not been able to before.
Would you agree, Mickey?
100%. I think Dance has hit the nail on the head, and when you look at his Leeds team, and you know, we give them the plaudits throughout the season and in tonight's performance, Hugh, but goalkeeper is an issue. As well as Carl Darlow's done, I don't think you'd look at him and say Premier League goalkeeper. With the greatest respect, I look at Rodon and I look at Ampadu. Are they centre halves that you'd rely on week in, week out in the Premier League? Not in my eyes.
The scouting, there's nothing that wrong with the scouting when you pick up Al Tanaka for £3.5 million.
Exactly.
From Fortuna Dusseldorf. You know, that's good scouting. And there's enough bad scouting around in football at the minute. Yeah. I can't believe that Victor Gyökeres was under so many Premier League clubs' noses at Coventry and playing brilliantly, and then he goes to Sporting Lisbon. Oh, and then we suddenly discover Victor Gyökeres. How blind are some of these scouting systems? They don't know a thing. But you've got to credit managers, scouting teams, chief executives when they get it right, and with players like Tanaka, they've got it right. Now there's an announcement being made here, Hugh. They're about to welcome the Leeds United players back onto the pitch. As I mentioned, there's a plethora of bottles of champagne just resting on the turf next to a promoted 2025 plinth right next to the centre circle, and out come the players, starting with Carl Darlow and Ilhan Meslier. Actually, oh, that's a nice response for Meslier. And they're coming out in squad order. So after Ilhan Meslier comes Jayden Bogle. Another excellent performance from him tonight. Junior Firpo, who set up the third goal tonight, he gets a round of applause. Ethan Ampadu, the skipper, the Welsh international, gets better and better every time I see him. Thought he was a defensive midfielder. He's making a proper go at centre half. Pascal Strike, who's not available at the moment through injury, he comes out the tunnel. He's full kit. He's full kit. He's not playing, but he's full kit. And Joe Rodon, another Welsh centre half for Leeds United, he comes out the tunnel to get a round of applause. Dan James is here, another player unavailable. Wow, listen to that roar for another Welshman as part of this Leeds squad.
Got his kit on as well, Dan.
He has. They've had the memo, haven't they? They've all had the memo. Joe Rothwell on loan from Bournemouth, just struggling a little bit with injury, but he gets a round of applause as he comes out the tunnel. Patrick Bamford, who came on as a sub this afternoon. Well, look, he's not scored this season, but the Leeds fans don't care. He's still a hero for what he's done in the past for the club. The man who scored 4 goals against Stoke on Easter Monday, Joel Peru, didn't score tonight, but again he worked hard, didn't he?
Yeah, he certainly did, Dan. I think what's nice as well, I know the players are coming out very quick here, they're all going over and high-fiving the staff that they've got behind the scenes at Leeds United. Yeah, and that's a lovely touch.
Brendan Aronson gets a round of applause. We mentioned the slight uncomfortable nature of his relationship with the fans when he left after relegation, but he's back and he gets a nice round of applause. Manor Solomon, surely they must try and keep him at Leeds United and try and do a deal with Tottenham Hotspur, because he's been tremendous all night. Don't forget to shake the hands of the staff, Manor. There you go, he's remembered. He's about to walk off and leave him hanging, but he's actually remembered. Laji Ramazzani, 2-goal hero tonight, his first goal since January. He comes on for Leeds United, the young Belgian. Matteo Joseph, maybe not got the goals that we might have expected, Mickey, at the start of the season, but another important contribution.
Yeah, absolutely. I think he brings something different to Leeds. He's got that physical presence as well, hasn't he? And they're going to need that. They're going to need to change it up next season.
Alex Kearns, the third choice goalkeeper. He's got no gloves on. Doesn't need them really. He was on the bench tonight, but not needed. He's straight over to the staff to give him high fives. Next up is, well, listen to this. Al Tanaka gets arguably the biggest cheer of all. Oh, well, listen to that.
I mean, it's fantastic, isn't it? You can imagine what this is doing for the players as well.
Everybody gets their little moment.
It's huge.
Joshua Giavogi, who came on as a substitute late on, he thunders out of the tunnel at full pelt. Followed by Sam Byram. He got a few minutes tonight as well, back at Leeds United. Began here, went to West Ham. and came back here from Norwich City. The man who's been number one goalkeeper for the last few weeks, Carl Darlow. He's next out the tunnel. There's not many left, don't worry. There's another, 6 players to come out of the tunnel before they can crack the champagne. Willie Gnonto. Smashing goal that he scored tonight. How effective can he be back in the Premier League? We've seen him there before.
Yeah, he's a bit more experienced this time around, Dance, isn't he? And I'm sure he'll be given his opportunity. Whether he's going to be an impact player off the bench or not is only down to him.
Isaac Schmidt is next up, coming out the tunnel. James De Bayo, part of the Leeds United Academy. And James De Bayo's a bit slow coming out the tunnel. And that's why Max Wober's actually beaten him to it. There's no sign of James. Max Wober, again, an injured player at the back. Sam Chambers from the academy. He comes out to jog towards the staff and give him his appreciation. The Bulgarian Ilya Gruev, another important part of what's kept Leeds so tight at the back, protecting that back four. And again, you can hear the appreciation for him. And then the player that Mickey Gray was so desperate to see and was gutted not to, Harry Gray, who's got one of those yellow scarves that were on all the seats tied round his head.
There's you for you.
He's loving it though. He's
fantastic.
Absolutely lauding it. As well he might, Harry Gray. Out come the rest of the ancillary staff at Leeds United, and I'm sure Daniel Farker's going to get a moment as well. I'd be very surprised if he didn't. But all the staff are out there. The players have all massed behind that plinth by the centre circle. Some have got bottles of champagne, some have got little poppers to set little bits of pyrotechnics up into the air. Here comes the manager out the tunnel. Let's hear the cheer for Daniel Farker. A very, very likeable man. He's very easy to talk to from our perspective as broadcasters and journalists. Never ducks a question. Quite shy, I would say, in some respects, but gets the job done. And congratulations to him, Mickey.
And all the appreciation going to his staff, which is nice to see. And also, just for you, Dance, he's took his jacket off.
He has. Well, it was a bit, I'm amazed he kept that on for as long as he did. So marching on together once again is pumped through the PA system. Farker goes to join his players at that little plinth next to the centre circle on the halfway line. And the scarves go up around us once more at this famous old football stadium that's about to get a bit of a makeover. We'll see what sort of makeover the Leeds squad get in the summer, but they're preparing to open the champagne, set the party poppers off and really get the party started in West Yorkshire. But I think they're going to let this song play out first before they get to that. I imagine this is one of the first thing any Leeds player has to do when they arrive here. Bet you did learn the lyrics to this song, right, Mickey?
Absolutely. I think they get put under your door when you're in the hotel room on a Friday night. But it's fantastic. And I said in a build-up to this game, it was one of the reasons why I wanted to come to this football club, to witness this, what we're listening to now, because I'd been here as an away player for Sunderland and other clubs, but I wanted to wear that Leeds United shirt. When I got the opportunity, it did not let me down. It was absolutely phenomenal. And this club is a massive club. We talked about in a few years it could be 56,000. Look, they could sell that twice over. The support of this club is very, very special. They love their club. They've travelled up and down the country, whatever division they're in, they follow them everywhere for moments like this.
Think of the pain of last season when Leeds United lost the playoff final to Southampton, and the recovery that they had to sort out from there, but recovered they have, and that is why supporters should be relishing moments like this. These don't come along very often if you're a fan of a football club, or most football clubs, to celebrate promotion successes. They're just waiting for one more cut. The players have just waited, can we open these bottles of champagne? I love the song, but I want to get these champagne open. And up go the party poppers. Off goes the champagne. They douse each other with the champers. And Leeds United can officially celebrate in front of their own fans, being promoted to the Premier League for season 25-26 and maybe beyond, who knows. But Hugh, party time is well and truly underway here in West Yorkshire.
Gentlemen, thank you very much indeed. It's fully well deserved. Excuse me, all those Leeds players now getting absolutely drenched, and Daniel Farker running for his life as he gets absolutely covered in it. All right for them to be celebrating tonight at Elland Road. They've done everything that they wanted to do coming into this season. They're heading to the Premier League, and they are one win away from a 100-point haul and the championship title. Mickey Gray, Ian Danta, thank you very much for tonight. Much more live football coming for you on the TalkSport network. Wednesday night Champions League semi-final first leg, Barcelona against Inter Milan. That's on TalkSport. Thursday night here on TalkSport 2, Nottingham Forest against Brentford in the Premier League. TalkSport will carry Athletic Bilbao against Manchester United in the Europa League semi-final first leg. The TalkSport app has Spurs against Bodo Glimt in the same competition. And on Friday, exclusively live on TalkSport, Manchester City against Wolves in the Premier League. Sports Bar about to get underway on TalkSport with Jamie O'Hara and Jason Cundy. Leeds fans, Bristol City fans, get your calls in to reflect your mood tonight. 03717 223344. Coming up next here on TalkSport 2, it's the Women's Football Show with Leanne Sanderson. But Tanaka, Nonto, Ramazzani helped deliver 4 of the best for Leeds United, who are now one win away from lifting the championship title with a century of points. Bristol City must beat Preston to absolutely guarantee a playoff spot on the final day. It's finished Leeds United 4, Bristol City 0.
EFL Live on TalkSport 2 with McDonald's. There's nothing quite like a McDelivery. You in? 18 plus participating restaurants. Delivery fees and terms apply. See mcdonalds.com.
Looking for specialist power tools? Then look no further than CEF Power Pro. Our next day delivery on over 3,000 products means you can get straight to work with top brands like Milwaukee, DeWalt and Makita. That's specialist tools for serious pros. We've got the power tools you need to work smart and get the job done. Visit cef.co.uk or your local branch today. CEF Power Pro. Engineered for power, built for pros.
I've got a new Samsung Galaxy S25 with Google Gemini. And my friend's puppy for the day. So I just asked, hey Gemini, find dog training classes nearby and text them to Emma, and my phone did it instantly. Sit. One day. Buy a Galaxy S25 from Vodafone before 13th of May and save £432. Selected languages only. Google login and network connection required. Save £360 on 5 gigabytes of airtime over 36 months and £72 on handset. Credit checks and terms apply.
Co-op members now get prices matched to Aldi. Hold on, no way. Okay then, so Co-op members now get everyday essentials price matched to Aldi. So sign up and start saving. Co-op, owned by you, right by you. I wasn't expecting that.
Co-op member prices matched versus comparable products at Aldi GB. Co-op membership required. Co-op group food stores only. See co.uk/Aldi price match.
Good afternoon, this is your captain speaking. We are preparing for a departure from big roaming charges. Download the Saily eSIM app and use the code SAILYUK to get 15% off any Saily plan in more than 200 destinations until September 30th. All terms at saily.com.
Get that Euro Millions feeling this Friday. 10 UK winners are guaranteed to be millionaires. That's 10 more reasons to dance. 10 more robots, 10 more Limbos, 10 more salsas. 10 UK winners are guaranteed to be millionaires this Friday.
Euro Millions from the National Lottery. Play on app. Account terms, rules and procedures apply. Players must be 18 or over.
This is the call of the Chiff Chaff. This is the call of the Willow Warbler. Hear the difference? Thankfully, some things are obvious, like choosing Interactive Investor for your ISA and personal pension. With 30 years' experience, over 430,000 customers, and a rating of excellent on Trustpilot, The choice is obvious. Search Interactive Investor. Investment values can go down as well as up. You could get back less than you invest.
TalkSport 2, official broadcast partner of the EFL. Thursday night, the Europa League live.
Can you believe it?
Athletic Bilbao face Manchester United on TalkSport, and Spurs take on Bodo Glimt on the TalkSport app. Both games kick off at 8.
That's top European quality.
Thursday night on TalkSport and the TalkSport app.
On DAB+, online, via the TalkSport app, and on your smart speaker.
The Women's Football Show
With Leanne Sanderson.
Absolutely first class.
on TalkSport 2.
Hello, I'm Leanne Sanderson, and this is TalkSport's Women's Football Show. What a weekend we have had in women's football. I'm still buzzing. I've hardly slept. My former side, Arsenal, won their semi-final second leg away in Lyon. What a performance it was from Renée Segers and the players. Last time they made the final, guess what? Yours truly was playing in it, and I'm absolutely buzzing. Arsenal did it. Can't say the same for Chelsea. It was really disappointing over the 2 legs, and Barcelona were just far more superior, and that's the reality. We'll be joined by Alexi Bissetta, football reporter, to discuss that. We also had some WSL games to talk about. Crystal Palace made the final of the FA Cup. The women's team got relegated this weekend. So disappointing. I'll do that in the company of Uma Gurav. My 3 in 3 this week will, of course, be back, and we'll have the announcement of the NWSL announced a new league that will rival almost the championship to the WSL the exact same way. I'll be then joined live in the studio by Connor Stainbridge, who's from football clothing brand Football Her. So excited to hear his story. This is TalkSport's Women's Football Show.
Hi, I'm Molly Bartrip, and you're listening to the Women's